Hi, welcome to the HDC of October 21st, 2025. We're a little short tonight on commissioners, so we're going to see how it goes. I know there's a speech that everybody gives at the beginning about, okay, we don't have to do that anymore. It's not COVID. Okay, commissioners at hand are Connie Patton, Joe Paul on Zoom,
Hello.
Angus McLeod on Zoom,
Hi.
and myself, Val Oliver, present. What else do we need to? Oh, can somebody please approve the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda?
I think you might have to do a roll call, sorry.
Oh, okay. This is why I'm not chair. Joe Paul,
Hi.
Angus McLeod,
Aye.
Connie Patton,
Aye.
and Val Oliver, aye. Thank you. I don't know the password. What? Oh, okay. That wasn't for me. So I see I will have to recuse from the consent agenda. So somebody needs to make a motion and hold mine, or?
You'll just have to, yeah, you can recuse, well, actually, there's three of us? There's three of you. Yeah, so Connie, you can be,
You
or
can be
Angus can
chair.
be acting chair.
I need a motion for the consent agendas, to approve the consent agendas 1 through 31, please.
I can vote on everyone except number 31.
Okay, so how about 1 through 30?
Yep. Good job.
A motion to approve consent items 1 through 30.
On your motion, Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
You did that so well.
Can I?
You did.
And then we can put Val back in for 31. So can I have a motion for consent item 31 for approval?
I make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Okay.
On your motion, Val,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Okay,
Consent with.
good start.
Oh, I was happy.
Yeah. I need to recuse from consent with conditions as well. So Connie, you're up.
So may I have a motion to approve consent with conditions number 1 through 18, please?
So moved?
Angus, on your motion,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Great, thank you. I was gonna say Connie, Abby's here. We heard you got bit by a tick.
Right it back.
Madam Acting Chair, would you like to approve the signs before we start the meeting?
Well, so I was at the sign committee today and I was an applicant, so I don't know that I
never
can do
mind.
that.
No, you
I'm gonna
cannot.
turn it over to Ab to be acting chair at the moment.
Okay, do we hear a motion to approve the sign per sign committee?
I'd make that motion.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor, let's see, in favor of that motion, Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Would you like to take over as chair, Miss Abby? Join in later? Okay, okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions for our preservation planner regarding the novel that she writes us every week, which I wish she could say in person?
Oh, why can't you today?
I second
Val,
that.
I was going to suggest you read them.
Ah,
Can't
did kind of had a question, but I couldn't, oh, yeah. It was about, no. Madam Chair, so, 11 Milk, where it's, right now, it's got like really light blue shutters on just the front door. And they're asking for Folger blue, and I was wondering, it's strange because the color that's on there isn't historic, but Folger blue but it's not quite right. So I wanted you, if you could elaborate on that.
Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Abby. So this is the Thomas Starbucks 2 house, which is circa 1761, originally moved to this location. It was the birthplace of Joseph Starbuck, actually. And it also is a holder of a preservation easement held by the Nantucket Preservation Trust. And with that, this would be something, one, that the NPT would need to opine on before, my recommendation before this commission makes their determination. And two, while Folger Blue is on your approved list, it would be helpful to know if there are other 18th century structures of this nature with a typical Nantucket with this color on it. I'm not privy to one in this particular area or other Quaker neighborhoods within the OHD. So that information would be helpful. And again, having NPT's concurrence on the proposed color, while color is something we can be changing, I think it's important to make sure that they are in compliance with their restriction. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, that answers my question. I just think we have to take the color seriously because it's a historic house from, you said it was from the original village of what, Sanborn or Sherburne.
Okay.
We have no Linda.
So, Madam Chair, your first application is 25 Prospect Street, and Linda Williams is the agent, and she's online on Zoom. So whenever you're ready.
Madam Chair, I'm going to ask that they be held. I couldn't get a hold of Matt Mulcahy, and I'm in New Jersey dealing with my uncle, and I'm sort of in the middle up to my rear in alligators at the moment.
Am I still chair or is it Abby? Okay.
Okay, Linda, I heard well, that's too bad, but we can hold it over
Can
till.
we go to next week? I'll be back on Monday, hopefully.
Yeah, that seems to be fine. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, and that's both of those, and I'll stick here because I have another one that Steve was supposed to be reviewing and he never did. That should have gone to consent, so I'll just hang out until it comes up. He
Okay,
never looked at it.
okay, so are we on to
We're on new business
14?
of 10-7.
10-7, okay, 14 Silver Street. Okay, well, we can give her that, what is it, a half an hour? And to come back in, and we can go on to 87 Main?
So, Madam Chair, Nina Ross is online. She's the applicant for 87 Main Street.
Okay.
Nina, go ahead and talk.
Oh, sure. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. As you know, the house has been a historic yellow, and I wanted to change it to a historic white. And that is what I'm asking permission to do,
Nina, why don't you wait a minute till we get your application up online?
for sure.
I still hate this whole new format, but
Madam Chair, you might want to announce what the board is.
Okay. We've got Connie, Val, and myself here, and
Joe Paul.
Joe, Paul, and
Angus.
Angus. Is there anybody else zooming in that I don't see?
No,
So it's,
no, this is it.
I guess it's going to be us five the whole night then.
Yes, and just so you're aware, Angus will be arriving at 5:30
Oh,
in person.
oh, okay, great. Okay, is it Nina?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
Would you like to present?
So, as I think this is an 1830s or 1840s house at 87 Main. The color is historic yellow, and I am asking permission to change it to historic white.
It is
I have some
historic white.
pictures that oh, I'm sorry, go on.
By historic white, do you mean one that's sort of muted? Or what do you mean by historic white?
Yeah, it was when I went to Marine Home and they handed me the swatches. There was one that had said it was approved that was white, and so that's the one that I need.
Okay, does that have a name?
Strangely enough, just white. But I'm certainly
Can you clarify, Holly, on?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for the record, this is the 1830 to 1834 Charles Clark and Sarah Gardner Clark House, built by Benjamin Gardner. This historically white paint was made with lead that produced a softer white with a slight brownish grayish hint. It wasn't until the 1920s when white paints went brighter due to the availability of titanium dioxide, as noted by Brian Pfeiffer, our architectural historian extraordinaire for the island. My recommendation would be that an earth tone white would be more appropriate for this 195-year-old typical Nantucket. The paint should not be glossy and should be a historic white, like a Benjamin Moore white dove, which you all had recently approved for 15 Fair Street, which was a 1797 typical Nantucket 5-bay federal. For
Okay, so
comparison.
is Dove White what you were thinking of?
that would be totally fine with me.
Okay, and so I don't have the application. The shutters are staying the same?
Yes,
Okay, so it's just the clapboard.
yes.
Okay,
If I may, Madam Chair, on that, the applicant has already submitted a like kind for painting the same exact color on the shutters and the door, the Essex green that you see on the picture.
okay. Okay, great. Board members? Val, did you?
I think with Holly's recommendation of the more subtle white, I'm okay with this.
Thank you, Val. Connie?
Me too.
You too. Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I reviewed this for consent and thought that Holly would be the most informed to be able to work with the applicant to select the proper color. But the concept of white with the actual selection in Holly's hands makes me feel comfortable.
And I'm good with that too. Do I hear a motion?
Motion
Oh,
to
wait,
Angus,
approve.
Abby,
You're here, you're on Zoom?
I am.
Okay.
I just wanted to make a motion to approve with the white being a white dove. And what would the finish be? Not glossy, so not eggshell, but what? Holly, do you have a recommendation or a sheen?
A matte, I think is what they have.
Matt?
Okay,
Yeah, matte finish. It would be whatever, yeah.
Just not shiny, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank
so
you.
that would
Yeah,
be,
that's a good
that would be
point.
my motion
Okay, thanks, Angus.
for a matte white dove.
Yeah, white dove with
Matte.
not shiny finish, okay. On Angus, on your motion, Angus?
Aye.
On Connie?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Joe?
aye.
And I'm an aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there's someone with their hand raised. Oh, Julie, two people have their hand raised. Julie Jordan just joined the queue. She's for 14 Silver, but Mariana Cavier had her hand up, so I'm gonna ask her to unmute and talk. Mariana, you have the floor.
Hi, I am for 4B Goldfinch Drive. My husband Leo Nudo should be there any moment now in person. I just wanted to, because you said that nobody else is on the line, so I wanted to make sure that you know that we're coming in.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Julie Jordan. Julie Jordan for 14 Silver Street.
Okay.
Let's see if I can, here she is. Okay, Julie, go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I was running a little late.
Oh, I don't know.
Are we able
Julie,
to
are you
open
gonna
14
share?
Silver?
Are you gonna share your screen?
I can.
Okay, let me just promote you to panelist then, hang on.
I don't see that I can draw. Is that
No,
true?
I keep clicking on it, you should see it. Promote to,
Join.
there it is, it says, will we be joining webinar as panelist.
Hi,
Hi, Julie. How are you?
good.
Good.
Share my screen. We're talking about 14 Silver Street. Would you like me, through the chair, would you like me to present my design and then we'll go from there?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. I get a little, I like to use a pen, but it doesn't look like it wants me to do that. Anyway, this house, I did read all Holly's comments on the historic nature of this house and it being more casual. So I did submit some revisions. A lot of her comments are based on my first try at this. So the next try has brick apron and a grass strip coming down, trying to be quite casual with a lawn area and some planted areas. We put a building envelope in for a utility shed that will be submitted by the architect. And we have a parking area for 2 cars with a backup, with a low hedge across the front to add the kind of cottage charm, but give a little privacy because it's quite exposed to silver in the town parking lot. The layout is going to be fieldstone, stepping stones, and gravel, and planted areas around the house with ferns and whatnot. I did expand the deck area in the back. It's about 18 inches off the ground, and I want to show the section because I think there was a little confusion about that. So you can see the deck here, and there's a couple of granite steps on this side, and I'll go back to the plan. I don't know if I can zoom in on this so you can see it a little better. Can everyone see it? It's a little, how's that?
Yeah,
I can see it.
So could I just clarify something?
Yeah, sure.
You've got a long driveway and then it sort of pools out in front of the house. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
there's a parking area, down in this close to the house where you would bring in groceries and whatnot.
Okay.
And then there's a nice lawn area in the front here. So
Okay,
some
I can see that now. I couldn't tell if that was a building or a driveway. Okay, thank you, Julie. Board members.
I'm happy to start.
Okay, Angus, thank you.
So I think Holly's comments would still apply here with making use of the existing street curb for for either side of the entrance to the driveway for the
Well,
apron.
this is where the curb cut is, Angus.
Perfect.
See,
And
this is, oh, I want to just make sure everyone sees, this is the current driveway is this dotted line.
mm, yes.
Okay, so it
uh,
comes in right here.
So a driveway in front of this house is um, it- even though that's sort of how it ended up, is not really appropriate in the OHD. That the driveway should really be to the side, and since the house has been expanded so much to the west, I would rather see the entirety of the drive and parking be over on that side, and
Well, there's a grade
the
change of about 3 feet in this corner, and there's a cement curb.
You need to stop going back and forth, sorry.
Sorry. But I'm just saying, I'm not sure, through the chair, I'm not sure everyone understands how much grade change happens here. And there's a giant cement curb that is owned by the town that would not, without great expense, let you enter in on this side of the property.
I think the entrance can be maintained, but as quickly to move over to the side of the house so that the view from the street, from the apron, is very simple, ideally landscape or lawn, but not driveway all the way up to the front door, and certainly not a turnaround or parking in front of the door. So I would, in concept, basically switch the open green area for the parking that's in front of the door. So I'm not saying that the parking has to be there or the entrance has to be there, but to get it all as much over to the west side, if there is a turnaround or turnout, that it would be over on the west side of the lot rather than the east, and that the area, at least in front of the original structure, which is whatever it is, 8 feet to either side of the front door, would remain just landscaped and no hardscaping.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. So it would be Connie or Angus. Connie, Val, Joe.
Does someone have their mic off? I can't hear.
That's me.
Oh, great.
So the board is Angus, Connie, Val, Joe, and myself. I guess it's going to be that for the whole evening.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to emphasize one of my last comments. I appreciate the changes that Julie did to incorporate my initial comments before you all even reviewed this, is that the deck extension that's being proposed on the rear technically it should be a separate COA because it's part of the structure, the historic structure and the addition that you all approved. And I did want to notate that it does extend past the wall plane of the original main block of the historic structure. So you may have a visibility, hopefully it's going to be planted so you won't see it, but if you see up on the top portion, that's where it extends past. So I just want to bring that to your all's attention. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, can I clarify that point
Sure.
through you to Holly? I just want to, so this isn't something that is approved at this meeting. You're saying that it's a separate application that would be a revision to the structure.
Yeah,
Is that correct, Holly?
We're finding out.
Okay.
I can have it approved or submitted separately by Emeritus. And it will be planted.
Chancellor, that is correct. To have it
It'll be a
separate
separate
COA.
application. Okay,
Yes.
so
It can
let's
go
get-
with the shed, probably.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to the driveway and the landscaping. Is that what this is, hardscaping?
And Madam Chair, it looks like Mary Bergman is here to represent the HSAG.
Okay, so yeah, hardscaping. Okay. Mary.
Hi, Mary Bergman, Mickey Rowland, Marcia Fader, Jason Finger. Agree with what Angus said about the parking right in front of the front door that should be avoided. And that the driveway, I don't know if the revisions have included this because I can't really see the screen. That the driveway should be a single width instead of a double width. It should be one car length. It's a lot of parking in the old historic district. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mary.
I could go. This is Joe speaking.
Hi, Joe. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Um, well, this is definitely an improvement over the existing conditions for sure. And I appreciate that it's not just a wide open expanse and that you're adding some layering from the street. I think that's helpful overall. And I also see the point that was brought up regarding the parking in front. I do note that it looks like you've closed down the actual width of the driveway, which I think is a good thing. The throat of it looks like the curb cut's actually diminished. And
Much more, yeah.
yeah, so I have a couple of thoughts. So one is whether or not the lawn area that you have currently drawn um, in the driveway, whether or not that can get extended further, and then perhaps the parking is eased back a little bit from the front so that the visual terminus of that driveway, which I think has the possibility of looking like an in-town lane. You see these,
That's what I was looking for.
right? Yeah. So I think that with some plantings on the left-hand side of the driveway, I don't know, I think that's the east. I think if you had some more plantings on the right so that it actually did feel like you were creating, not, doesn't have to be in LA, but like a lane, and you lengthen the lawn area, then I think your visual terminus, it probably doesn't feel so exposed, the front door. So I think that I don't have an issue with the fundamental layout, but I think you might be able to add a little bit more screening to get that feel of an in-town lane as the driveway. Those are my comments.
Thank
Okay.
you, Joe.
Thanks.
Connie,
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add. I am concerned, as already been stated, about that parking area. It does seem quite large in front of that cottage to me. And I'm not sure if maybe a topo might help with the.
There is a,
Julie, can you wait until each commissioner finishes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
In here, a topo,
There's some topo lines.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
That's it. Val?
Well, I struggle with parking in general. We don't want to eliminate cars for some reason, and you don't want to back out on Silver Street either. So I understand the need to have a turn-in parking and a back-out spot. Maybe it can get a little bit smaller, I don't know. The only other thought I have is to move the entrance to the driveway from where it is, which I think is historically where it's been, farther to the south. But honestly, I think I'm okay with this. It's better than the concrete slab that's there.
respectfully, I'd just like to say, I do hear the comments on the gravel in front of the historic part of the house. And I think that I could probably do I just want the functionality of them to be able to pull in and park and back and get out of the driveway. But I mean, I think leaving the designing to me, and if you would like a revision on the driveway, I'm happy to accommodate that. I mean, I think the overall, the character that we're going for is old and not too polished. And I did want to actually point out this curb here that's, on town property. But I definitely think I could come up with something a little softer with the gravel, getting it away, and it wouldn't be too difficult to minimize gravel. Sorry, I'm used to using the Zoom drawing, so I'm like highlighting everything on the Adobe.
Okay, so that leaves me. Well, I would not be in favor of the parking in front in this historic area. And I was even thinking, I'm not sure if it would work, but if it was a smaller driveway and was circular, if that would sort of mitigate having to have like a parking lot in front of the house. But in any case, it seems like the consensus is to reduce this driveway as much as possible. And if you have any other questions from the board, we would probably ask for revisions.
No, I'm comfortable with revising the driveway with the client, something that'll work for her, and resubmitting for next meeting.
Okay,
Thank you, Julie. I'll make a motion to hold for revisions.
Okay.
thanks, Angus. Angus, on your motion?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. Thanks,
All right.
Julie.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, your next item agenda is 17 Eat Fire Springs, but Ethan is not here. So,
I think
Or did
he
you want
was
to?
thinking somebody else was going to represent it.
do you know who? Oh, actually, they
The
have a hand.
architects,
William Massey, hang on one second. William, are you representing 17 Eat Fire Spring?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to screen share?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let me promote you to panelist, stand by. So you'll just click
I
accept
still
on
hate
your
this
end.
new format. I'm just going to say that.
I just got disconnected. I don't know.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we can see.
Hello.
Get my volume up a little bit there. All right.
Are you good to go?
Okay.
William, would
Bear
you
with me one
mind speaking up a
second.
little bit or maybe turning up your volume on your computer? We can barely hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
A little better.
Kind of mute, you're a little bit muted.
All right. Hold on one second.
We can't hear you at all now.
Right. I'm trying to bring up the drawings.
And you sound much better. Thank you.
Okay. Or do you have the drawings that Ethan submitted?
Yes.
'Cause I can look for the drawings that he submitted.
Sure.
Because he had marked those up, because he had planned on submitting those on the 7th, and then that didn't happen.
Do you want our staff to submit or to share?
Well, there, all right, I've got them. So, all right, so share. There. All right. Can you see these?
Yes.
Yes, if you scroll down to the elevations, that would be great.
Okay. Right, okay. So this is, right, so Ethan had said that they had previously had submitted for window replacement and to change the trim from the red, which was existing, you can see that here, to be able to do the trim as white. And then also with the window replacements, we'd be doing white, so we'd be getting rid of the storms that were dark. As we were asked to assist in the project and design, in doing a review of the structure, we realized that the condition of the siding and the roof materials were also in really poor shape. And so in an effort to really kind of bring the house up in character, the owner agreed that we should probably do a replacement of the siding and the roofing as well. And so what we're looking at being able to do is to replace windows, and we're also proposing to make some changes in locations of windows. And then on the back side of the house, which kind of reads as the front because that's where the front door is, but it actually from the street side, this is the back. They asked us to look at what we could do with the porch, because currently we've got a porch with a roof deck, but the roof deck doesn't really stop the rain. It's just open slats. So they've asked us to also look at designing the roof so that it can work as a deck, but also stop the rain from coming through onto the lower level. And then with the kitchen on the second level here, what they were asking is that if there was an opportunity to be able to change the roof of this shed to be able to allow the roof deck to actually come around to increase the usability of that deck area. So those are the things that we are looking at being able to do. So on the north side, basically, we've got all the existing windows that we'd be looking to change. For the footprint of the deck, we're maintaining that. We just want to be able to change the newels and the spindles to reduce the spacing so that we meet current code so that the spacing is less than a 4-inch diameter. On the opposite side, we're looking at being able to change the shed roof, and then also kind of treating this more of like it was a sunroom that got in, so it was maybe an open porch that got enclosed. So there's no real shingles to this. It's all basically trim and windows. Getting rid of the door that's here and being able to put in a window based on some of the renovation work that we're looking at doing inside. Then on what was the front of the house, the proportions with this large 2-story gable, they wanted to be able to get rid of the arched window and be able to put in another rectangular window, getting rid of the hexagonal window here. The structure for the porches would all stay. What we're proposing, though, is to help improve the proportions, being able to introduce decorative kind of copied columns. So there wouldn't be structure, it would just be decorative, but it helps with the proportion and massing of the house. So it actually looks like this could be supported instead of looking like it's sitting on toothpicks. And then the front of the house, again, we're looking at being able to make a few changes, organizing where we've got windows and can to organize them over the other windows. So what was proposed, this is what would, or what exists here, this is what we'd propose with adding the windows here, getting rid of a couple of windows and then adding the window here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, what's your first name?
William, you can call me Bill.
William. Bill, thank you very much, Bill.
All right.
Are there any neighbors here or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, Madam Chair.
Okay. Board members.
I'll go.
Thanks, Val.
I just went out there right before the meeting, and the side that you really see is what's really considered the rear. It's funny because this house and the house next door have this red trim. It's so funny. There are structures out there that are on a larger scale now and do have white trim, but what I'll say is this trim is more formal. It's heavy. The rest of them have just regular, basic, simple, 1x6 corner boards and 5/4 by window casing. So I think that should be toned down, especially if it's painted white, because I think it's gonna stick out in the and the sash is white, okay. Other than that, it's really out there, and I think all in all, everything is more of an improvement than not. My only other concern is that every single window is a casement, and I don't know how everyone feels about that. I know they look like they're double hung, but that's very atypical. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Anybody else want to jump in?
I can.
Thank you.
I have a question. So on the east elevation on the roof, under is that oh gosh, I've lost my words. On the roof underneath
Skylight?
is that that's kind of,
Or Scuttle.
it is, but it's not on the models. So is that going to go away? Because it's a little awkward looking.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
There is an existing skylight there. There's a bathroom under that space. We just didn't model it, but yes, the intention is that it would still remain because they would like
Okay.
to have the natural light in that bathroom.
Okay, it just looks a little awkward. Yeah, I have to agree with Val. I think especially, on the trim, on the, I guess what's being proposed is southwest, the white is it's pretty prominent. So if that could be toned down, but I think overall, it's really a net gain on this house. So I don't really have any other concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Joe or Angus?
I'm happy to go. So I would just echo the others about the rural setting of this and that more darker colors, the existing red, which I kind of think of as a real character defining feature, or a gray or something that would sort of work more with the landscape, is more appropriate. I agree about the cautiousness about the casement windows that has either a contemporary feeling or a feeling more like a barn. And I have the east elevation up, and I feel like that there's a real sort of conflict that's happening, and this is the street view. I'm not sure how sliders happen to the left of the house, but the shed in its simplicity really fits with the simplicity of the character of the rest of the house, with minimal eaves and trim details. And so I feel like when I look at the lower proposed version of the east elevation, there's a whole nother design aesthetic that's happening with the double columns and the capitals and bases, and to think about that being white in contrast to the rest of the house feels out of character. So I would recommend toning it down and maintaining the shed in this east elevation, or at least the idea of it, and going with a darker, either maintaining the red or going with a gray or something for the color. Thank you.
Thanks, Angus. Joe?
Yeah, I agree with most of what's been said. Definitely appreciate that this is a net gain, proportionally for sure, and the top heaviness of the subtractive mass is being mitigated. And I think the double columns, and we'll call it a water table that runs across the porch and that gable on the west, formalizes the building a little bit. And I think it being white really amplifies it. A platinum gray or some other light gray, I think, would help. There's a lot of railing on here. By code, you don't need the railing on the first floor. So maybe that just gets removed completely. That would tone things down quite a bit. And I understand we're not going to be looking at the west elevation that much, but it looks like this is accessible from two streets. And I do think that the east elevation, which is the closest to Eat Fire Spring, I think something could be done about that door, the L. Maybe there's a a little shed roof or something over that, a little bit more than just a 6 light door with a couple of steps. I think that there's a way to maybe visually acknowledge the road with something of a little bit more stature. Not in a formal way necessarily, but I think it looks like we're looking at the back of the house, and maybe we can at least blur that a little bit. I I would I was hesitating on the 2/2s. Well, I guess they're really 4 light casement windows, but because it feels farmhouse like, but it's not really a farmhouse. But I've softened on that given the eclectic nature of the existing fenestration. But I think them being casements makes me a little concerned. I just would mention this too for the homeowner. Casement windows on Nantucket, they just don't last because of wind. And there's an aesthetic issue too. I think you're going to read a lot more glass here. So I'd like to see them be double hungs. So I don't have an issue with the shed roof becoming this enclosed sun porch. I think you could probably tone it down a little bit if it wasn't painted panels on the base of it. Maybe it continues the language of the deck that is, natural cedar that wraps through there. But I think that's worth taking a look at just to give it a little bit more. Maybe there's some shingle that's introduced to it and it's not all paint. So for me, I guess it's paint color, the window style, and doing something about addressing Eat Fire Spring Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I agree with what's been said. I prefer the double hungs to these casement windows. I think the changing the color to white with all the detailing, like the double columns, is going to be too much. But I would certainly be in favor of a gray or a platinum gray. Joe mentioned. I think, yeah, and adding kick panels to the bottom of the French doors where you've put in the sunroom would help sort of quiet that down, especially if it was a gray. I had a question about the roof walk. On some of the elevations, it looks like you've got it's kind of a swoop going in between the posts, and on other drawings you have just a straight apron going down. I'm assuming you're proposing the straight skirt coming down from that roof walk.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
What we're seeing in this elevation right now where it's got the swoops, that's existing, and we were maintaining that, whereas on the backside it was square, straight. I think the swoops are because of the skylight. If we could have, we would have made it straight.
Okay. So I think we can hold for revisions. Would anybody like to unless you have some questions?
I guess the one question I would have in terms of the color is that when you're talking about doing the gray or the platinum gray, are you thinking that would be the porch element and that we would keep the trim on the house and the windows on the house white?
No, that would be universal.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask.
Throughout the whole house.
The homeowner felt really strongly about wanting to try to get what they felt was the kind of quintessential Nantucket character, which was the gray house with the white trim. I understand your points about the fact that the porch now has become more formal compared to I mean, there's a certain formality in order to the west facade of the house that doesn't really exist anywhere else. But I understand what your points are about being able to try to soften what's happening with the porch, especially when it comes around to what is formerly the front of the house, over here. So I think that we can definitely come up with different design aesthetic for that. Also, your point where if we don't need the rail along here, I think we'd absolutely look at being able to get rid of that and be able to just have it up here to just try to lighten that a little bit. The idea of being able to bring, so the idea, we went back and forth, do we take some of the shingle and be able to bring that through here?
Yeah, I think that was suggested. I think it
Right.
sounds like you've got enough to go on. Val has one more comment.
Right, I just
Okay.
want to make the comment again, look at the area. The houses, while maybe larger, are simpler. Simple.
Right.
Lose the formality, and if you want the more formal trim, I think you're gonna have to tone down the color, because it's just gonna stand out like a sore thumb out there.
Thank you, Val. So do I hear a motion to hold for revisions?
Motion to hold for revisions.
Thank you, Val, on your motion.
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And aye. All right, let's see what we are.
So, Madam Chair, 58 Nobodier informed me right after I amended the agenda that they were going to hold this application until the next new business meeting, which is November 18th. You do have abutters. I don't know if there are any in the room or, yes, in the queue.
How many times have we held this,
This
do you
is
know?
the second time.
Second time, okay.
Within a 2-week period. He requested to be moved to the 18th. I'm sorry. I did send him the best practices from the website and told him to read that. It's my understanding that if they miss more than 2, they're put down at the bottom of the agenda. But since he requested for the 18th, I'll have to consult with the chair on that one when he's feeling better.
Okay. Sarah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm very sorry,
Seems like
Sarah.
I just want it to
applicant-
count against their,
Yeah.
their
Yes.
number because
Right.
I had to, I'm sick and I had to rearrange my whole schedule to be
Sorry
here
about
today.
that.
And to hear at the last minute that they want to continue is kind of,
Yeah,
Right,
Well, the next time,
yeah.
yeah, 3 strikes and you're out.
Yes,
So
Sarah.
sorry
this
about
is-
that.
two,
Yes.
This is true, Sarah, but if you want to reach out to me tomorrow and I'll find out for sure if he's put at the very end of the 18th agenda or not.
Right.
If you want to reach out to me tomorrow or whenever you're feeling better too.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope you feel better. Sorry
God, we
about
don't
Okay.
have a
that.
meeting
Feel
until
better.
then.
We have a meeting next week in old business and then the next one after that is the 18th.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That's scary.
Well, because of special town meeting and Veterans Day
Veterans
and
Day.
Thanksgiving, so.
So are we on to 16.5 Williams?
We are, and Tobias is in the audience.
Okay, this should be interesting.
Thank you, members of the board. You've already approved solar at the building next door to this at 6, there's a 18, 16 and a half, and 16. On William Street, it's a new house. There's like 3 kind of cottages going on the Cherry Street side, and then the 3 kind of main masses on the William Street side. It's a black roof. The HDC wanted the building to be built first, so you wish all your other clients who are building homes could build things first for you to get a good mock-up. So we've graciously done that. We've built the building for you, and now you can look at it. How cool is that? Here to answer any questions the board might have.
Thanks, Tobias. I'm waiting for my application to come up. I'll go. Okay. Oh, could I just?
Sure.
So let me just ask, Joe, are you getting this as well? And Angus, can you bring it up on your?
I'm having no problem looking at it on my end.
Okay. And Angus, can you see it? Oh, here it is on the screen, but, okay, so,
Yes, I can see it, and I already reviewed it. I mean, I've gone to the site and looked at it, and I see it on the screen.
okay, good. Val, did you want to start?
Sure. I think that the west installations are okay. William Street only goes the other way out, so you won't see it coming that way. On Cherry, you'll see it, but I think it's not gonna be straight on because there's two houses in front of this and then the bigger house to the west of it. But the ones on the south, I would say no, they're gonna be very visible on that lower roof plane and they're right at the street. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Val. Connie? If you're ready, yeah.
I think your mic is off.
You're right. Okay, so I did go view it, and I agree that the south elevation is visible, but I have no problem with the other elevations.
Thank you, Connie. Joe?
Yeah, I agree with Connie.
Okay, that agrees with Val. Okay,
Yes.
Angus?
Yes, the south is the only one that's visible, and so I'd be fine with anything other than the south.
Okay.
Maybe there's screening at that driveway that is off of Cherry Street that would help to mitigate the view from the street because these panels are on the lower roof plane.
Yeah, if you look at this, if I may, Madam Chair, if you look at the site plan, there are, you can see the first building, 18 William Street has been constructed. There's a small mass being built in front of that. And then on 16 and a half, this application, you can see there's a building going right in front of those panels as well. And then there's a driveway, and there will be screening at the end of that driveway.
So this is
That's the south elevation.
But it's
You're-
also raised up higher on the lot.
And it's also on the lower mass as well. So we didn't, we purposely didn't select any of the panels on the south elevation at the higher mass because we felt these lower panels met your guidelines.
Okay, thank you, Tobias. Okay, we've heard from most of the board members. Do I have a motion to,
I'll try.
okay,
I make a motion to approve the west panels and eliminate the south panels.
oh, they're all the others are on the west, right?
Can I second that just to make a comment? And
Thank
my
you, Joe.
comment was going to be that I think that motion potentially is made without prejudice, that the applicant could come back with the south elevation, maybe once some of these other site elements are in place, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you add that to your motion?
Sure. So motion to approve on the west elevation, the west elevation panels approved. The south are eliminated for now, but without prejudice, so he can come back once the site has been sort of completed and we can see what we can see.
Right, okay, thank you, Val, for that motion. On your motion,
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you. And just for clarity, so you're looking for me specifically as an applicant to build a structure and screen it
You
before
didn't
you'll
build it.
build it and screen it before it's approved. Just to be clear.
Or
Well,
you
or
just take the approval you just got and go away.
Right.
Great, thank you.
Or, yeah, or come back after
I think we're being
that's done.
pretty nice about it.
So did I do a roll call?
Yes.
Can you write that up? Okay. 40B Goldfinch.
Yes, Madam Chair. Is there somebody here in the audience, or you want to come up to the mic and just state your name for the record? And pull the mic towards you. There you go.
Hi, I'm Leo Cavalier, owner of 4B Goldfinch.
Welcome to the HDC.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can pick this up. Let's see. Okay, you can start.
Well, we we applied a couple of years ago, and what you see on the top there is it was our first drawings, and then as the family grew, we decided it was a good idea to also make the house a little bigger. So if you scroll down, you see the what we actually want to build.
Yeah, I think it's self-explanatory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Give me a moment just to bring this up.
this is it, yeah, right there.
Okay. Board members? Thoughts?
I feel this is appropriate. I would approve this. And I know you probably have already gone through the homeowners association, right?
Yeah, we have, yes.
Thank you, Val. Connie?
Yeah, I have no concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's nice. Joe
I agree with what's been said.
and Angus?
I would make a motion to approve, but I know you want to speak. Go ahead.
Well, I had some concerns about the triple dormer in the third, in the attic there. But I think I'm in the minority. So did somebody make a motion? Was that Angus, or did you make that?
Yes. Motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you, Angus. On your motion,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and I will be a no. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks. This next one, I think, is consentable, so we can look at it, but it's super easy. Low roof pitch, no visibility.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
I would agree with you. I think just Stephen is sick, so he didn't get to things. And if you wouldn't mind, I think the last application I have on the agenda, 12 Pilgrim, it's very same thing, back of the house, very consentable on a dormer. I wasn't going to stick around for the one at the end of your agenda, but thank you.
you want to, okay.
You want to approve without an
Thank, okay, thank you for that option. Okay, so are we on to 1 Hull Lane?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. I went by there too.
Yeah.
It's a sweet little, almost like a mobile home building.
Just give me a moment to pull this up. Val, would you like to start?
Yeah, as I said, it's a one-story little cottage that's closed in by lots all around it and vegetation. If you go to the next page, nope, keep going. I'll do your presentation for you. If you look at the house, the photo of the house, you'll see, I mean, the pitch is so shallow, it's.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It's just tucks.
Yeah, I remember this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Was that
I could make a motion to approve
Oh,
as submitted.
Oh, okay, let's go around the board
Okay.
just for some giggles here. Joe?
Yeah, I would support a motion to approve this.
Okay. Angus?
I would as well. The only thing that I could offer to the applicant on this application and any others is that the locus plan show major streets that are around. It's about the size of a site plan. But I'm fine with this application other than that. Thank you.
Happy to do that. Yeah, we talked about doing a bigger zoom out.
That's always helpful to get more streets in there. Thank you for that. Connie?
I have no concerns.
No concerns? And I have no concerns, so maybe there's a motion.
Motion to approve is submitted.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Val.
everyone. Have a great night.
You're welcome. Connie on the motion?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And myself is an aye.
I'm an aye too on my motion.
And Val, sorry. I am not really here today. All right, 6 Fargo.
Yes, Madam Chair, the applicant's coming to the mic.
Good evening.
Good evening. Just, could you hold on one moment? Thank you.
Just state your name for the record, Bill.
Yep, Bo Barber,
Thank you.
7 Code Road.
Bo Bobber.
Trouble. They're trouble, those Barbara.
This is Ian Hull. I could. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's too obvious. Okay.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Could you let in, Madam Chair, could you let in Donaldo Bergeron?
That would be me. Hang on one second. Does he want a screen share? Yes. Oh, okay, that'd be great. Donaldo, I'm promoting you to panelist, so just accept.
Okay, I'll start in the meantime. So
No.
this is a new second dwelling, concurrent with and designed with the primary dwelling, very simple trim. It is a garage apartment, as you can see. Window and door schedule is Anderson. And I appreciate your comments.
Donaldo, can you screen share? Are you able to?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got it.
Okay, thank you.
I think what would have hugely helped is a picture of the main house
can get that up.
and the site, but we can pull that up on GIS, you can see.
Yeah, this is the one with
Yeah.
those funny dormers. Okay, Val, do you want to continue?
Yeah, based on the main house, I'm just gonna go back and look at the site plan of where this is located next to that. So give me a second.
Okay, no, I can come back.
Okay.
Connie?
I lost it again. It's just looking at the elevations.
Yep, there is an odd one there.
Bo, which side faces the driveway, like,
All right, so we've got, presenting to the street, we have the
Garage doors?
The garage door is facing, yes, the driveway.
yeah, so the The south elevation, no, I'm sorry. The east elevation presents the street, and then the driveway is the north elevation.
What do you think, Connie?
So it's 28.4.
Yeah, that does seem a little high.
Yeah, it seems a little large to me. And I was trying to figure out the, this thing is driving me crazy.
Take your time.
You know what I think would really help us on this is to do a view.
Yes,
I was going to suggest that.
Yeah, because I think based on that,
yeah,
We-
I'm
it
having,
may or may not matter what,
right, I'm
yeah.
having a hard time with
Well,
not
if
these
it's-
two, that elevation and then the other one, but I'm thinking that that might not even be visible.
Can we scroll down to the,
Can you
East-
just scroll down a
east
little bit?
Yep, just Denali, may scroll down.
So, yeah, these two elevations, I think I would like to do just to get my bearings, because these are the only two that I really am having an issue with. They just, plus the overall building seems a little large to me for a garage apartment. So that's where I am at.
yes, that's quite a reasonable question. Joe?
Yeah, I was a view and then just taking a quick glance at this before the meeting. One thing that jumped out was the overall height, which I think was already been alluded to, but also the second floor eaves, that height relative to the height of the windows. So there's some unusual like dormers that are in this, and I think a view makes a lot of sense to be able to determine how impactful this will be from a public way.
Right. Okay, thank you, Joe. Angus?
I agree with what's been said. And again, this locust plan is not showing us much more than the site plan. So to give it context, I think it would be helpful to, in addition to the viewing, to have a locus that expands the view.
Yeah, thank you, Angus. I'm concerned about the two doghouse dormers on the east, drawing so much attention at a height of 28 something, that those could easily be a shed and calm that whole thing down on that side. So I think the consensus is for a view. So I think we're going to hold, if I hear that motion.
I'd make that motion.
I will second that motion to just see if anyone, in relation to the height that's been mentioned, does it make sense to have high poles at the gable ends?
Okay, we can add that to the motion.
If the other members feel the same way.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, is that your motion, Angus?
Well, I don't want to take the motion away from Joe.
Oh, sorry, Joe, sorry, I meant Joe, is that your motion?
Oh, did I make that motion?
add the
Yeah,
high pole?
yes, I would make a motion to view with ridge poles.
Okay, great,
I don't
okay.
think we're gonna see them.
That's
good.
That will prove a point.
Mhm.
So on Joe's motion, Connie?
Aye.
Val?
I,
Angus?
Aye.
And myself, and I.
Madam Chair, before Bill leaves, if you're only asking for a view, next week is old business. And
He could
if you
come
wanted
back.
to request to put him on the agenda just for the view with
Sure.
the height poles, as long as there's no revisions, if that's okay.
Okay, well,
Otherwise, the next new business is November 18th.
yeah, this is a problem.
all right, so just for that discussion, if anybody has reservation, has some concerns, we should give it to him now so he can think about what he might want to change before coming back.
Okay, we're going to have a lightning round then.
Okay.
Val,
What is the floor heights? That's something, I can't read it because it's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we have 10 feet for the garage. And then we have, what is it, Donaldo, is it 8 feet?
normally,
Yeah, 8 feet for the second.
It just seems higher because of the window placement with regard to the eave line. So that was just something I was going to ask, and really, that's my question.
that's important. Connie?
Yeah, I was concerned about the height and then those two gables on, I can't, because it's
East.
too fuzzy, the east side, if something can be done with that to quiet it down, or it just kind of looks a little awkward to me. Thank you.
Joe, any last minute?
I think it's just
Sorry.
second floor window header heights and the eave heights and those gable dormers that you mentioned.
And Angus, any last?
Joe said it for me. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, my problem is the east and just the whole massing height. So those are our concerns.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so Bill, if you want to give me a call tomorrow.
I will.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And he
motion
can
was
be on next week, right? Okay.
Joe, was that your motion or was that Angus?
That was my motion.
Okay, Joe, on your motion,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Okay, Madam Chair, 40D Union Street is a renew COA. I believe Holly's going to say something about that. They typically go on consent because nothing's being changed, but Stephen didn't do his consents.
Okay.
Today or this week.
Do I
I
hear?
can make a motion on that
Thank
because
you,
I
Val.
did look
But
at
I
it.
believe Holly wants to say something about it.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to actually echo that. This is just a renewal of a 90 square foot dormer, and I had no concerns.
Okay, I see that now.
And I knew that.
On Val's motion to approve, Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Angus, Joe,
Aye.
Madam Chair, we might have lost Angus because he's in the middle of the ocean.
well, we do have 4 people.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Madam Chair, Linda Williams is online for 18 South Shore Road.
Okay. Hello, Linda.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm in lovely New Jersey, yay.
Well, at least you're not here.
Yeah, well, I'm packing up my uncle's house, so yeah, this is like my 10th house.
Just give us a minute to bring up
Here it
the
comes.
application.
Steve didn't do this one either, and it should have probably gone to consent, given the location and where it is next to the junkyard, all the
I
way in the
concur.
back. So if you like, Val, if you think it should go to consent, knock yourselves out, guys.
Yes, I do.
No concerns.
Linda, could we just wait until we bring it up? Because
I
we're not.
did look at it and
Oops.
it's perfectly acceptable and appropriate.
But no more until people rotate their drawings 90 degrees.
I know, nobody does that anymore. It's really annoying.
Well, it's hard to do it when you're scanning them from home because you can only scan one direction and have it all work out.
You can do it once it's a PDF, Pumpkin.
Oh, maybe I can. I'm not
I'll
that
show ya.
technologically. I still have a flip phone, for God's sakes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I have no concerns with this.
Motion to approve is
Okay,
submitted.
hold on. Connie
I need no concerns.
and Angus, did you have a chance to look at South Shore? Well, I have, South Shore is this one.
Augie's Pit.
Hold on one second. How's New Jersey?
Still here.
Okay, so Val, that was your motion, correct?
Right on.
Okay, on your motion,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, guys. Back to my packing.
Thanks, Holly.
Bye, Holly, thank you. Oh, good.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of
I have to get rid of some of these things that are.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
14 Eel Point Road, I don't know who's representing. If there's somebody in the audience, no, or online, you can raise your hand.
I did go out there.
Permanent
Yeah, it's just a portable generator.
No, I know,
And
but
they're basically
if
making
you
it a permanent
View,
generator.
let's put it on a view then,
Okay.
because you can't see it.
Would you like it for a view for next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Val's motion. Are we going to even open it, or?
No, you don't have to open
No.
it.
I
Okay,
think it will assuage your concerns. That's why I went out there.
Okay, where are we now?
Do we make a motion for that?
You can motion to view, yes.
Okay, motion to
And to be
view
held for 10/21.
and be held for next week.
10/28.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your motion?
Yep.
Okay, Val, on your motion.
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Angus,
aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you, Mr. Generator, for,
And Greg Nichols, is he, anybody representing for 5 Coffin Road? No, online.
I think that was an easy one, too.
yeah. 5,
If I had known, I'd have reviewed all of Stevens.
door color change, oh lordy.
Could have taken half from you, too.
From black to blue.
Right.
Okay, lightning round. Val,
I'm totally fine with this.
Connie,
No concerns.
Joe,
No concerns.
Angus,
No concerns.
and I'm an aye. Thank you.
Motion to
That
approve.
was-
Motion to approve as submitted.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Joe?
Again, okay, Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and myself. Okay, that is approved. 5 Coffin Road. All right, Oklahoma, here we come.
These two should have been consent, just saying.
Okay, well, let's give them a fair shake.
I don't think Ben's gonna argue. I went out there too.
Yeah.
Where do we find these on couldn't find these?
Are you guys ready for me?
Oh,
No,
they were at
hold-
the end because there wasn't a number,
Hold on
sorry.
one sec.
Sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. So what's on first, the shed or
North shed.
shed.
north
Shed.
shed and south shed?
Ben give his presentation.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to bring it up, which is not really easy.
North shed.
Okay, north shed, here we go. Ben,
Great. So Oklahoma Ave is an unknown road. That's really a paper road, but it's on Tennessee Ave. And these beautiful little sheds are located on Hither Creek. We were able to find a aerial photo from 1936, which they appear on. The use of them is a mystery. Were they a fishing shack? Were they a hunting shack? We don't really know what they were, but they're there, and they've been there for almost 100 years. And at this point, they're being held together by poison ivy vines and seaweed. So the intent here is to bring them back to life. This property is well within the wetland, cannot have any septic access, so they are just sheds. They're going to be used as boat sheds and storage sheds and light hangout spaces, but they're very much just little sheds. So I've been in touch with Holly. She needs her flood elevation certificate, which I've requested from the surveyor. We are not bringing them up to meet floodplain because they would look absolutely ridiculous. So we're only bringing them up 2.5 feet as more of a practical matter to keep them out of high tides and flooding. And they will be placed on steel, very thin columns, so they'll just be kind of floating in air and not, and that's not 2.5 feet of air, that's about 1.5 feet of air, and then there's the framing, so very much low profile. With that, it's really a restoration of 2 fun little buildings on Hither Creek, and there you go.
Can we group these together, or do we have to take them separately?
They have different features.
Okay, all right, let's, board members, North Shed.
I think for me, the only concern is something Holly mentioned, and I believe Ben has addressed it. There's a batten panel that can go in front of the French doors.
On the north shed, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And none of the windows are original. Are the windows original? Holly's asking why are they getting replaced?
If you saw the condition of any of this material, you would need to realize it's not salvageable. So yes, all the windows are.
I just appreciate that it's staying intact, so thank you. Anybody else want to look at that?
Yeah, are the windows double hung, or are they
I
stationary?
don't think there are any double hung. I think they're all little
Hopper.
sash. They'll be tip in sash.
Tip in.
Yeah, I don't
tip
think there's
in,
any
okay.
double hungs anywhere on. any of
Okay,
the stuff.
terrific, okay. Board members,
I'm happy to go.
Angus.
Well, I agree with Val. I appreciate the retention of these, and it's amazing they've lasted this long. My only, I agreed with Holly's comments about the French doors, but it seems like those are at an angle, and for most of the year, the batten door is probably going to be closed over the French doors. But my main concern was just how subdued the structure is now with the natural weather trim and just a white sash. I think that works with how minimal the fenestration is now, but the fenestration is dramatically increasing. So I'd be okay with the increase of the fenestration if it were painted gray or natural to weather for the trim and for the sash.
What is the painted trim?
Currently, the trim is natural, which I think we're maintaining, if that's what's noted on the application. And we would be happy to paint the sash. The sash is currently white, but it's so painted, it's so hard to tell. But we'd happy to keep it gray, a gray color to blend with the natural trim.
Okay.
Absolutely fine with that.
And yeah, the sash and the
Doors and sash, yep.
Okay, you
Yeah.
can make that your motion when we come. Connie?
Yeah, with that, I have no other concerns, and I appreciate the restoration of these little fishing shacks or whatever they are. Thank you.
I agree. Joe?
Yeah, I agree with Angus's comments regarding color and the comments about retaining this cool buildings. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Angus?
So I would make a motion to approve the north shed with the trim being natural to weather and the sash and doors being either a Quaker gray or a Nantucket gray.
All right, terrific. On Angus's motion, on your motion?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Can you write that up? Thank you. All right, the south one, where are we?
It's even sweeter.
All right.
Yeah, there's really nothing to add
Yeah.
here on my end. Very, very little fenestration in this structure proposed. And existing.
Val, did you want to say that?
I think that it could be the same as Angus's last motion, just everything gray. right?
Is that your motion?
That would be my motion if everybody else is in tune.
Did- Joe, did you have any comments, or do you agree with,
I agree with what's been said. No concerns.
okay, Val, would you write this up? Just
Sure.
keep the, okay, on Val's motion, Val,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Hi.
and myself. Now, that's
Okay.
nicely done. Fun
Great.
project.
It's a fun one.
If you have to go out there and fish and look around.
I got one more. I'm not going anywhere yet.
You got two
Or
more.
maybe two more.
Tennessee.
All right, Tennessee. 55 Tennessee. So we're going to do the barn garage first?
Sure.
Super easy.
Yep, so back in Nantucket, this is an existing garage. It's probably a barn at one point, and then now it's kind of turned into a garage. And it'll continue to be a garage, but we just don't need 3 garage doors across the face. So, you know, more internal storage than external access. So you'll see the elevation show only 1 remaining garage door and then just small windows flanking. And this is the front elevation, but then the sides have minor revisions too, of just a little bit changing of doors and getting rid of some of those stable doors for windows instead.
And is it true that it's going to white sash and white doors? Or is that, am I on the wrong one?
I don't think so.
I
Just to
think
match
that's what it
existing.
says on
Yeah,
the
we got it.
application.
Trim is natural, sash is white, and I believe that's to match existing, and then the doors are white, and that, I believe that's existing, or are they gray?
What's all that?
Are the garage doors gray?
Everything's
Debbie
gray.
Healy's, right?
I don't know who lived there before, but, yeah, we're not trying to change any color schemes, so
Okay.
that might be misnoted on my end.
Oh. There, but everywhere else.
Okay, Val, do you want to start?
Yeah, I don't have any concerns with this.
I do like that Nantucket gray. Connie?
Yeah, I have no concerns without the white as on the application.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think this is an improvement. And I'm just looking at the garage doors and they're gray. So I would want that gray or one of the other grays, Quaker, Nantucket or something. But it
Yep,
could,
we're not gonna change that garage door, so it is what it is. So
so whatever the color of, it looks like the doors are gray now. So whatever that gray is, if we just maintain that
Yep.
for the garage doors.
What about the sash and trim?
The trim is natural weather,
yeah.
right?
And that's-
And you're
that's
keeping
accurate.
that?
Yep, that's not changing.
And the sash?
It's white like it is.
And that you're
Is
going
it
to,
existing white?
Well,
it says
We
white.
have a picture on there, so.
Yeah, just white.
But we're happy to go to gray, you know.
I think it's the storm windows that are
Yeah.
on there that covers pretty much all of it, and that is gray.
Yeah, there's some bars on those windows too from the horses. So those are gonna go away eventually.
But how visible is this?
Connecticut jail.
It's not very visible, yeah. I
Not
don't-
very visible?
I don't think so. I mean, the front is, but the sides and back aren't. Yeah, the existing cottage there is probably gray. So we're happy to go gray, keep it all.
Yes, that would be great.
That's fine. Yeah, there's the existing
Jo-
cottage. so.
Joe?
Yeah, I agree with the color conversation and I have no other concerns.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it sounds like gray.
Do you have any?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted with the sash and doors being the gray to match what's existing on the main house and/or the garage doors.
Thank you for that motion. On your motion,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
and Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
one more thing.
What else
Still
do you
here.
have?
Yeah, this is the only one I
All
had
right.
a concern with.
We're going to trip him up somehow, or see.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
So,
Sports court.
are you guys ready for me, or?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Let's see. Sports court. What kind of sports?
Are you ready for me?
Right against.
Okay. Board members.
Oh, can I make a quick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, this was a barn. This area behind the barn was the pony pasture or whatever pasture. And the Rhinomos have two young kids. And, you know, they want to play basketball and ride their skateboards and stuff. And they're in Nantucket where it's all sand. So they are looking for a poured concrete slab in that area to play sports. So, you know, it's that great, and I don't think it's visible from anywhere. No fencing is requested. There's existing three high pony fence that'll maintain, but this is just for kids to ride their bikes and ride skateboards and stuff.
What's the material?
Poured concrete.
Poured concrete, okay. Want to go, Val?
Sure, I went out there too. I was concerned because my mistake, I didn't look to see if there was no fencing. That was gonna be my biggest concern because it's very close to the property line and that little Washington Ave and spit ends there. And if the vegetation's gonna be maintained, it's fine,
Is there,
in my opinion.
is there vegetation there around?
There is now. They're gonna keep it, right?
Okay. then
Yeah,
that
I mean,
can be
the
part of
area
the
that they want to
motion.
use is already cleared because there was a little pony pasture. So it's just, they're not clearing anything. They're just using the existing little pasture as a sports area.
Okay. Connie?
Yeah, I had this similar concern because it's right on the property line, that one corner, because it's kind of tilted. And I don't believe it'll be visible, but just in case, we need to maintain the vegetation.
Yeah.
We can make that a caveat.
Yeah, so it's not visible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connie. Angus?
I agree with what's been said. I think just the motion, whoever makes it, would want to include maintaining the existing vegetation and add vegetation between the existing garage/barn and the existing 610 square foot building. Just sort of close that visual gap to the sport court.
Joe? Oh, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, Angus said it. So I agree with what Angus said. Thank you.
So I wish it wasn't in the setback, but if we make the proviso that vegetation will be screening this from a couple of angles, I guess I'd be okay with it. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve is submitted with keeping existing vegetation around the court and add vegetation between the existing 610 square foot building to the south and the existing garage/barn to the north, just to close that visual gap of the proposed sports court.
Okay, Angus, thank you for that motion. On your motion,
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm an aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Ben.
Madam Chair, before you go any further, I just wanted to make you aware that 7 Delaney Road is holding until November 18th, just in case someone was either in the audience waiting to speak on it or
Okay.
in the queue on Zoom. I
All
just
right.
want to make a note of that.
Okey dokey. Are we on to 8 Isabel Way?
Yes, and let me bring over Tim. Tim, did you want to screen share?
No.
Okay, never mind then. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great. This one's a little confusing, a little tricky. As for their electric bill, they have two separate bills. This house that we're looking at that has I think it's roughly 34 solar panels on it. This one is set back a ways from the road, the main road out there, and it's pretty well screened in. There's only one spot on this particular house where, right when you turn the corner near the driveway, is the only location where these solar panels are visible at all. Other than that, the rest of them can't be seen from the street anywhere. I took some pictures from the road to include in the application. So you can see that it is, for the most part, screened in, but there will be a little bit that's visible.
Sorry, what's your first name?
It's Tim Holmes.
Oh, Tim. Hi.
Yep. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Okay. Board members?
I'll go. I appreciate that it's off the street. This is really kind of a private street. But I am concerned because it is a two-story building with light roof shingles. What would be facing Sankaty Road, the east? Yeah, that's my concern. That's the front, right? Is that the front, Tim?
Correct. Yeah, I guess you could call it the front, yeah. It's just set weird on the lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might be, we might have to have a view on this.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe we should view and see what we can see, but it's primarily the roof shingle colors and what is facing Sankaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can scroll a little further through, you can kind of see that from Sankaty, it's really not visible at all. It's only when you turn the corner. So that's the spot right there on the turn in the road. And I did a sort of a close up of the driveway. So from the turn in the road, you can barely see it. From Sankaty, you can't see it at all. It's really only when you come around the corner to the driveway where you really just catch a glimpse of it. And for the most part, the leaves are rough. I just took these pictures about a week or two ago. So the leaves were for the most part off most of the trees.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Connie.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Tim, are these two structures or one?
So this is one building. This is what I was calling number 8. But I think that the way the town assessor has it, there's two separate houses on roughly a 3-acre lot. And I think they call them both 8, but I submitted 2 separate applications, one for this house and one for the other smaller house that's out a little bit closer to Sankaty.
Okay, yeah, our preservation planner was just questioning if you needed a separate COA for the solar on the garage. My concern is the roof color. It's gray and our guidelines, specify black. So that will make it, if visible, even more visible. So I think somebody was suggesting possibly a view that we could do just to take a peek. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Connie. Joe?
Somebody mentioned a view. I do think it's a good idea. I've been through this property a couple of years ago, and it's actually even a challenge to find. And it's incredibly pastoral, but I didn't look at it with the solar panels in mind. So I would like to see it, given the roof color is not black. If the roof color was black, then I would have no concerns.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Angus?
I agree with what's been said.
Okay, do I hear a motion for a view, or?
Motion to hold for a view.
Okay, thank you.
No, Madam Chair, did you want to bring it back next week?
Sure, yeah.
Was it revisions or just a view?
It's just a view.
Okay, all right.
So,
That works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yes, so on Angus's motion, Angus?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Joe? Joe for the view.
You heard me, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a yes. So,
Okay. Should we hold the second one for the view too?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, those shingles, the panels are on the rear of this structure, except for the garage. It's on the side, so it's less of a concern for me.
Yeah. Yes,
And the
it's
garage
true.
is a separate structure, which really should have a separate COA, and it says
Right.
6 on the GIS map.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, that, I know Holly was questioning, saying that they needed 2, and then this would be a third, I believe.
Should we see the whole thing in its entirety, and then we can, yeah. Okay, so can you make a motion to hold this one too?
Motion to hold for review, and we'll review both of them next week.
Okay, that's Val's motion. On your motion, Val?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And myself. Okay, 2 views.
The next 2 are mine, and I'm going to hold them.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Bye.
You're holding 4 Quince and 23 Goldfinch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I don't see Sana in the room or in the queue unless somebody else is representing 20 Pollywog Pond. I don't see any reaction.
Okay, so let's give her half an hour and we can move on to Milk Street.
That's probably Frank Daly unless somebody else is in the room or online. And I don't see Frank there.
We going too
No.
fast? No.
Motion to, I mean, you can hold it for another half an hour if you want.
Okay, we'll hold Pollywog and 11 Milk.
6:15.
And then,
Sure, 6:15.
And then 11 Pippin's Way, it's Chris Begna. I don't see him in the queue
This
or
is
in.
way out in the boondocks.
in the,
I've been to this property.
Which one?
11 Pippins. It's a
Really?
Tiny little stuff. Yeah, Melissa Long.
Did you want to open
I
it?
thought, well, anyway, is Melissa here? Or,
No,
Chris is.
no, Chris is not here. He's not in the room, he's not online.
Oh.
so
he
no,
should be.
nobody here to represent 11 Pippin?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to hold that one too?
Yeah,
Yes.
he'll come back. He,
All right, we'll come around
And then
back.
you're already holding 7 Delaney till 11:18.
Right, okay.
So Jerry Durr, who is with 8 Cato and 10 Cato is online, so
All
let me promote him to panelist. Jerry, did you want to screen share? Jerry, I'm unmuting you.
Yes, I do.
Did you want to screen share?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, great. Let me promote you to panelist. It's good to give Fiona a break. Okay, so you should have an accept button soon.
So which one is that? Sorry.
It's going to be 8 Cato.
8 Cato.
Oh, yeah, I put this on.
Can you
on
see my
mic.
screen?
Not yet. Did you hit accept?
Yes.
Okay. We don't see anything except your name.
me jump back. Okay, can you?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, so Jerry Durr, JWD Design. As you mentioned, this is 8 Cato Lane. We've kind of joined it with 10 Cato Lane in both applications from a site plan perspective and also from a street view perspective. What we've done with 8 Cato Lane is we've had several hearings. We've addressed all of the commission's concerns from an architectural perspective. The last concern that the commission had was moving the building back 5 feet from its previous location. So in this resubmission, if you see, we initially had the building where the dashed line is. It was right up against the front yard setback. So we took the commission's recommendation and we've moved it back the full 5 feet. And that's 8 Cato Lane. And exact similar scenario on 10 Cato Lane. When we jumped to 10 Cato Lane. But as I mentioned, we did pick up all of the comments from the commission, and it was really just purely a site location concern, which is what we have addressed here. We've moved the building back 5 feet.
Okay, thank you very much. Board members.
I'll go because I'm the one that didn't put it on consent because I didn't understand. I didn't sit on these before, but I didn't know what was changing because there's nothing clouded. And if it's reciting and it was it approved?
No, number 8 was not approved on consent. Number 10 was. Number 8, there were a few hearings that we had regarding ridge heights, regarding shed dormers in lieu of gable dormers. Another concern was the number of dormers themselves. And we've addressed all of that in the previous hearings. In our last 8 Cato Lane hearing, the last item was moving the house back 5 feet.
Madam Chair, just through you, to explain what Jerry just said. So 8 Cato Lane, what they did was they withdrew the last application and submitted a new one.
Right.
So the 8 Cato Lane is a brand-new dwelling.
But it looks exactly the same as number 10,
Yeah,
just has
yeah,
different
yeah.
windows.
Exactly, but he withdrew the last application and he resubmitted a new 8 Cato Lane to address the board's concerns.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't sit on it because I wasn't part of any of the.
But it's a brand-new application, but it's up to you.
I'm happy to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there were two concerns as far as the distance that the house was being sited from Cato Lane. One concern, I believe the chair had brought up, was the leaving space for a car to be parked in front parallel. And I think that might be where the 5-foot bump was brought into play. The other concern was that these structures were the same distance from the street. And so I believe we landed at that the 10 Cato Lane would step back so that these two buildings weren't the same distance from the street. And so I appreciate the 5-foot setback of the structures, but they're still exactly in line. So it's going to be, it's not going to help for 8 to move back. It really is 10 that needs to move back, probably another 10 feet to really have a separate orientation and sighting to the street from its mirror image to the north at 8 Cato Lane. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Angus.
I could go. This is Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Angus, I appreciate you explaining that because my first thought in moving 8 Cato Lane back is that we're only making it parallel to 10, regardless of the distance from the road changing. The fact that these two buildings are mirror images of each other, for me, are a major concern. So I'm surprised that we're looking at two buildings that are mirror images of each other with exactly the same ridge height this close together. I don't know if anybody else has a concern with that, but it sounds like it got close to an approval, but I would have gone in a completely different direction on the design of one of these structures. I have a real problem with them being mirror images.
That's why I didn't put it on consent.
Thank you, Joe. Val, did you want to continue?
No, that really was the concern, because they look exactly the same. I mean, even on the site plan, except they're mirror images and the windows got a different pane configuration. What about turning it so that hold on. What side is that? Entry porch side. If you took what's now being proposed as the north and made that the front of one of them, it could still be the same exact house, but it just will have a different presence on the street. That's my question to Rich, but you guys go and he can answer them all at the end.
So what I'm worried about, continuing on 8, is that 10 seems to be the problem. I'm just wondering if we should look at 10 first. Because this
Wasn't
yeah.
10 approved? And it's just a minor change that's being proposed. I was confused about that. So
Yeah, it is
What-
confusing.
What is the status
It
of?
was, can I respond, Ms. Jerry?
Yes, what is the status of 10
Well,
Cato?
10, it feels like we're getting a little unclear direction. The last time we met on both, it was to mirror 10 and to move both homes back 5 feet. And in doing so, as you can see on the site plan, 8 Cato Lane is 5 feet back from where we previously had it. And the front of 8 Cato Lane is about 15 feet in front of 10 Cato Lane. So the last direction that we had was to move them both back 5 feet and to mirror 10 Cato Lane. 10 Cato Lane was approved on consent, and the direction that we had was mirror it, move it back 5 feet. We ran through many iterations of 8 Cato Lane and fulfilling all of your requested revisions, and the direction was to move it back 5 feet. We still have a very staggered front from one house to the other. In addition to that, on the elevations, we've gone at 10 Cato Lane, we have the 2/2 double hungs. We have 3 dormers on the front. On 8 Cato Lane, we have 2 dormers, and we went with 6/6. They're going to visually look very different. 10 Cato Lane is going to have gray trim with natural cedar and a natural cedar roof. And 8 Cato Lane is going to be all natural cedar, left natural to weather. We have black windows on 10 Cato, and we have the Quaker gray windows on 8 Cato. So visually, one is set back further, about 15 feet, and visually they're going to look very different. And we did have them, previously 10 Cato wasn't mirrored, and the request was to mirror it. So we felt we had clear direction last time, and we followed it exactly. So we're a little concerned about now maybe rotating 10 Cato Lane, where we previously had it was approved on consent. We're just trying to work.
Thank you, Rich. I think that the
Jerry.
problem is we have a new board and we're looking at this fresh, so.
I think it's a new board, but it's also that application says revisions to previous COA. There is nothing circled. If it's just a move on the site, it should have just said it's a move on the site. The building's already approved. So there's not a lot of clear information. And I didn't sit on it before, and I admit that. So I can't.
We showed the previous location.
Wait a second.
Okay.
It's very unclear what's being applied for. It seems as though it's a brand-new house, and we don't know what's changing. That's why it's hard for us to understand what's going on.
Rich, when was 10 Cato Lane approved?
It was approved a couple months ago.
On consent?
Yeah.
On consent, it was approved a couple. We have gone back and forth.
Okay.
We have addressed every single concern. And from the last meeting, the concern was you like at the end of the day, we had the approval on 10.
Well, you have an approval on 10, but if you've pulled the application and resubmitted it, it's new. And this is Joe speaking. I would never approve 8 as a mirror image of 10, even with the fenestration changes and color changes. It just feels like a very suburban development approach to creating some differences. So there's nothing that I don't see 8 getting approved. 10 we can't do anything about.
Okay, so.
That's my opinion.
Thank you, Joe. First of all, Kathy, do we have minutes on that?
I was going to ask Rich or,
Larry.
where did you, what meeting was it heard at where the chair asked for a mirror image? Because I can pull up my notes.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what, that was,
Or-
well, 10/7 was a new business meeting, though it would have been an old business meeting. So
it would have been the one before that.
well, I would need a date. Okay.
You have all
Let me just-
all the dates.
Well, I don't have all the dates on.
We're going to hold because it's unclear.
Okay, so it sounds like the
I believe it was October 6th,
October 7th was a new business.
the 7th.
So 10 Cato Lane, that was, Madam Chair?
Okay, yes.
So it looks like 10 Cato Lane was submitted with revisions, but they weren't bubbled.
Okay, but,
So 10 Cato Lane is a revision to a previously approved, but it looks like they weren't bubbled. That's why you don't know what's changed for 10 Cato Lane.
okay, so that's incomplete.
So it's incomplete.
Yeah.
So do you hear me, Jerry and Richard?
Yes.
So
Can I
that's why they're
respond?
confused, because there's nothing bubbled, so they don't know it's a revision.
Nor do we have what was previously submitted.
Right, exactly. So it's incomplete, so that's why they're.
We
If
might
I
have to
could-
go back.
If I could add,
Can I
Madam Chair,
respond?
Also,
Hold on one sec, Rich.
oh, just that when an application comes back to us, that it should have the minutes of the previous meeting, so we're not sort of stabbing in the dark of what happened before.
If the minutes were ready, we would have resubmitted minutes, but the minutes were not ready.
Nor is there a synopsis, nor is anything circled, nor is there anything even written that says, this is the difference between what was submitted before.
This is on the site plan right here. We have previous location of approved footprint. And then we have the new proposed location, including mirror image of approved building, which is, that was the previous location. It's mirrored and moved back. That's indicated on the site plan drawing.
But it's not on the application.
Can I just mention one thing? How do I put this? Sometimes when a suggestion is made, like if the suggestion was made to mirror it, I'm assuming that they weren't mirrored, but the design was still identical. And somebody suggested mirroring it, thinking that might create a little bit of a difference. But it doesn't come with a guarantee that that means you're going to get the approval, even if you followed the suggestions. So sometimes a suggestion's made, and then when we see it in drawing, you're like, oh, I guess that doesn't quite do it. So I just wanted to help explain that process. And I've been on the design side of things and have had suggestions made, and you make them, and the board does a 180. I think the issue is compounded by the fact there was some confusion on 10, but also this was filed as new business versus a revision. And so now we're looking at it as if 8 Cato Lane has no history, because the board members that sat on it before, once you reapply, there's no guarantee they're going to come back. My suggestion would be to withdraw the application and reapply and hope that you get the same board and at least that you originally had, but there's no guarantee then. But it sounds like, I don't know if everybody spoke on this, but for me,
So are you talking about withdrawing 10?
10 is approved, and it sounds like it's just a move on site. So the design of 10 is really just a location issue. The design of 8 is a revision where the house did a mirror image, but it was submitted as a new application versus old business. And I think that's created some confusion for all of us that have never sat on it.
Madam Chair, through you to Joe, 8 Cato Lane was, the last time you all reviewed it, they withdrew that application and they resubmitted what you're looking at tonight.
Yeah.
So that is a new application. It's just
Okay.
that if that makes any sense, and 10 Cato Lane looks like it wasn't bubbled, that was a revision.
Yeah.
A new application, but a revision, but the revisions were not bubbled, so that's why there's confusion with 10 Cato Lane.
Well, I just want the applicant to know that we're not
Yeah.
changing the design
Yeah.
on 10. The 10
Right.
was approved, and there's confusion around it about location, but 8 it's brand new.
Yeah. So, so
I'll make a motion to hold for more information and revisions.
on 8 Cato?
That's what we're reviewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Rich. So I just to be clear, so number 10 is previously approved. We can build that as approved, correct?
You have the approval.
So I just to address that through the chair, the issue was that 8, it was easier for 10 to move back than 8 to move back because 8 was already forward. So it would mean that 8 would have to go back 20 feet to have a 10-foot difference between that and the adjacent 10. So I believe the board's opinion was that it was going to be easier, even though 10 was approved, to move that one back because it was already sort of back from 8 as proposed.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I have the minutes here. Sarah is listening, and she's just texted me the minutes.
Okay. Can you read them to us?
Yes,
Okay.
it might be a little lengthy. McLeod appreciated the street elevation showing both houses together and the site plan illustrating their proximity. He observed that the two houses both touch the front setback line and nearly identical in shape, proportion, and fenestration, which he viewed as problematic. He suggested moving one structure back 10 to 20 feet to create a variation and separation in their presentation. He also noted and appreciated the simplification and reduction of dormers in the revised design. Camp agreed with Angus's concerns about the siting of the buildings, noting that the placement appears dense and the houses are nearly identical, which she felt was excessive for a rural country road. She observed that the ganged second floor windows seemed large and somewhat overwhelming for the structure. Her primary concern centered around the siting of the building along with the street rather than its architectural design. Pohl's comments on 8 Cato Lane, where the applicant had made the revisions that he was hoping to see, he is fine with the present proposal. Patton agreed with concerns regarding the siting and density of the buildings and suggested that pushing the structure back or adjusting would help address those issues. Welch asked to review the site plan and streetscape to better understand the relationship between the two houses. He suggested 10 Cato Lane could be mirrored to create variation, making the house appear as bookends rather than identical copies. He also discussed the impact of parking, recommending that if parking remains in the front, the houses may need to be set back an additional 10 feet. He encouraged the applicant to consider both mirroring and adjusting the siding to improve the streetscape and overall presentation. And then they made their motion to hold for revisions.
Okay, thank you, Kathy,
Yeah.
for that.
So-
Only one person said mirroring.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's what,
And then, so they ended up withdrawing that application and submitting this one for 8. Yeah. And 10 was revisions, but the revisions look like they weren't bubbled for your review tonight. 10 was originally on consent, I forget when. The 26th of what?
okay. All right, so I guess the question is, do we want to review Cato Lane, 8 Cato Lane, which is what we're on right now? What's the,
Didn't Angus make a motion to hold for revisions, or not yet?
can you state why? Because of the,
Or was I
because of
dreaming
the
that?
siding of the house?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing concerns from pretty much everyone on the board about the proposal, and so I'm making a motion for revisions.
Okay, let's try that out. And on your motion, Angus?
Aye.
Connie?
I,
Val?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, on to the next.
You want to do 10 Cato Lane?
What, sure, we can look at 10 Cato Lane.
And then after that, the piece is here.
Oh, okay. That's very important, actually. Let's take 10 Cato Lane now while we're hot on the subject.
Okay. This is 10 Cato Lane, and before you on the screen now, it has a similar cover page as 8, showing 10 Cato Lane on the right-hand side above from the streetscape. And then the siding down below, again with the mirrored previous footprint, called out previous location of approved footprint, and then the new proposed building location, including mirror image of approved building.
I'm still.
I don't know if, given that we had approval on the building itself, I'm happy to go through the elevations again. I don't know if you feel that's necessary or.
I have a quick question to the applicant. So 10 was approved on consent, but flipped. Is that right? And this application mirrors what was approved. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Well, then I have no concerns about the design. In fact, separately, I think both of these houses are appropriate and approvable. So just to make that clear, and the mirrored image of it with the gable towards the right and the shed roof mass towards the parking, to me is the right way to soften this as an arrival sequence and so forth. So I have no concerns with this application.
The architecture.
Yeah, the architecture, the siding, the reverse of it, all of it. I have no concerns.
Okay. All right. So Connie?
so what are the alterations? That's where I'm
They're not
confused.
bubbled.
That's, yeah, right, that's
Because
right.
this
They're
was
not
already,
bubbled.
well, this was already approved on
I
consent.
think
so
it would
why
be
is it
helpful
coming-
if we had the approval
Yeah, I'm very,
to look at,
because if there's nothing
right?
different.
If it's just shifting, that's,
It mirrored.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it got mirror, oh, I got you.
No.
The gable was on the left side as you look
Yeah.
at it from Cato versus the right. Otherwise, nothing's changed. So the whole thing would have a cloud over it.
I gotcha. Okay, I understand now, I guess.
Okay, Angus?
Well, just more of a sort of a point to make that makes our job a lot easier is a thumbnail sketch adjacent to the proposed plan is the previous plan, whether it's approved or the previous submission. And so that would help with the confusion. And I agree with what Joe said.
Val, did you go?
I'd prefer not to go. I didn't sit on this in the beginning. I would never have suggested using the same house side by side, and I really don't even understand what's happening with it, so I'm not going to make a comment.
Would you like to
Okay.
recuse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So my feeling is that it's not the architecture. I think I said that before. I think it's the fact that it's so close to the road and it does exactly the same thing as 8. If it was pushed back a little more to make them different somehow, because this looks like a development in the middle of a country road. And I think something's got to look different, something about, they really are mirror images, and I don't think that's helping this project. So I would hold for revisions and rethink the siting of this, and maybe even the size of this from side to side. It's just shoehorned in there. So I would hold for revisions personally. So do I hear a motion of any sort?
Can I just ask a clarification question?
Sure.
So this, just so we're all on the same page here, number 10 is approved
We don't know
on consent with the gable on the left side. So if the applicant decided to, they could move forward with the original approval, and then 8 Cato is just dealt with as a separate issue.
Mhm.
The only reason why there's a revision to 10 is because of 8. So, and I'm just trying to get some closure for the applicant that
Yeah.
you could move forward with 10 as previously approved and just rethink 8 in a way that doesn't trigger changes to 10.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just I wish it'd been the other way around, because as you come down the road, 10 comes first. So that's a problem. Okay, so what do we want to do with 10 Cato?
Well, I'm fine with making a motion to approve it submitted, but I just warn the applicant that it's going to be easier to move this back to address the board's concern about these being the same proximity from the road. So
I would support that motion because I think it gives the applicant, now they've got 2 approvals for the same house on the same lot. They're just mirror images of each other, and then they can move forward with a design for 8 that works with either one of those approvals. And there are many projects that have multiple approvals that are concurrent, let's say. So I don't think there's confusion there. I would support that motion.
Okay, Connie, on the motion?
Aye.
sounds like 4 of us.
Val?
I'm recusing.
Okay, and I am a no. So that is, what did you say, Connie?
Aye.
You said, okay, so that passes.
Well,
Oh,
and there's Joe and there's me.
yeah, Joe?
Yeah, I'm an aye. Thank you.
And sorry, and Angus?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Rich. Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Can we
Thank you.
break for how many minutes do we do? 7? Or
10,
12?
12, 12 minutes.
Sorry.
12, okay.
All right.
Chris is here for 11 Pippin.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So back at 6:32.
Okay, back at 6:30.
Though there's a little gray area. So that's what I think what I personally do if I was doing one, I'd probably build a false ceiling down to 6'6", and then because I guarantee you in 2 years that will go away. So instead of hamstringing yourself. Well, and out here too. I mean, that was the whole argument. I was like, if you don't have them on Nantucket, like people need to store things. Like, where are you putting everything? Right?
Let's start. Okay.
start, okay.
Sorry, state your name for the,
Good evening, everybody.
Thank
My
you.
name is Chris Magna. This is for 11 Pippin's Way. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I've just, as a blanket statement, I'll go through all the colors, et cetera. This is not remotely visible from anywhere. It's over 500 feet off the road, surrounded by conservation. So it's certainly not going to be visible from a public way. With that being said, this is an ADU. There is the main structure is an existing gambrel, so they're trying to mimic a similar look and feel. Looks pretty much like this. Going with a board and batten on the exterior. It's going to be black windows and a charcoal black architectural shingle on the roof. And it's under 22 feet in total height. So I think that's probably it on my
thank you.
end.
Thank you, Chris. Board members,
I'll go.
go ahead.
I've been out to Melissa's house a lot. There is no way you can see her house or this house, so I think it's perfectly appropriate.
Thank you, Val. Connie?
No concerns.
Joe, are you there?
I'm here and I have no concerns.
Okay. Did you want to be on this one, or do you want to skip?
I'll refuse.
Okay, and I'm fine with it, given that if the vegetation remains, that you will never see this.
You will.
They can't move it, it's all
Yeah, I was just
conservation. Motion to approve is submitted.
On your motion,
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank you,
night.
Chris.
Good luck. Yeah. Going home.
Why?
61.
Oh,
Yeah, it's landscaping. Yeah, I don't see Grayson here, so I think I'll be able to help. Landscape.
Madam Chair, 61 Cliff Road, Grayson from Garden Group isn't here, but Ben Norman is going to step in.
Oh.
The best I
On
can.
his behalf.
61 Cliff.
61 Cliff.
So he'll be doing both 61 Cliff Roads.
The addition,
And the hardscape. He did the addition and Grayson's not here, so he's gonna do the hardscape.
Yep, and the hardscape really helps explain the addition too, so I think it's important to see them both together.
Thank you, Angus. Our dessert.
Which one are we doing first, the hardscape?
Oh.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
That's not the house. I don't know what. So I'm gonna do my best for Grayson, but I may not be able to do it all here, so I don't, that is not the house. I don't know why that picture's on there, other than maybe.
that's at the corner of Sherburne.
Yeah,
He's showing the fence.
okay.
Oh, am I
Are
re-
Do you want me to do it?
No, are there pictures of the house? Did Grayson submit anything?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. We're getting a
Okay.
wicked echo.
We have a reverberation. Try talking again, Ben.
1, 2, hello, hello?
Okay, that's good. Yeah, 61
Oh, that picture,
hardscape.
but- So, I'll start here. So 61 Cliff Road is, address of 61. The front of the building is actually on Moores Ave, or is it Moore Street? I forget which one it is, but, going towards Lincoln Circle there. So, although the address is 61 Cliff, it really, exists on Moores Ave. Now, the existing conditions is that the driveway is also on Moores Ave, and it's a double wide driveway that drives right into a 2-car garage to the left of the structure. And where the landscape plan and my architectural plan come together is that we want to abandon that existing curb cut and driveway, create a lawn space there, and move the curb cut to Cliff Road and create the garage doors basically facing Cliff Road and not on the front of the house. So I think that's really the big change here for the landscape and the architecture. And all the finer details of the actual landscape plan as far as fencing and things, I'll do my best to answer questions too, but programmatically, that's the big change that we're looking at here.
Are you saying that on this slide, the bottom of that is on Cliff Road now?
This driveway right now is here. It's the next probably slide. They
But-
want to move it from there to there.
Off Cliff Road?
Right.
Right, okay.
Yep. Yeah, there's existing conditions, perfect. Yep, so it's a big brick driveway right on the corner. It's frankly dangerous, but that's not your concern. But I think for a lot of reasons, this makes a lot of sense, but I'll.
And your material is cobble?
Yeah, so it's no longer a big brick surface anymore. It's cobblestone off of Cliff Road.
Okay, all right. Any other questions, general questions? I got mine done. You have a question, Val?
I do. My concern was it's just gonna be wide open exposed there where we're used to seeing a lot of vegetation, and I was wondering if there was gonna be any vegetation to somewhat screen. It's, even though the driveway they have now is sizable, I think this is even bigger. I see there's some little circles there, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to vegetate that corner that, or, you know, the corner of Moores and Cliff, we'd love to vegetate. I believe he's showing fencing and privet maybe. And then the curb cut area also we could vegetate. Of course, we want to make sure there's visibility, so there's some, you know, it can't be too
Right.
tall. But yeah, the intent is not some big wide open thing, but it should feel, you know, well landscaped. Again, I can't comment on the exact species or planting patterns, but.
Anything else, Val?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I
Anybody
like
else?
it better than being in front of the house.
I'm happy to go.
Go ahead, Angus.
So when I saw this application, for the architecture, I hadn't seen the land, the hardscape proposal at that point. I totally appreciated the garage doors moving around from the front of what read as the facade of the house around to the side. But then my concern was, well, what are you going to see from Cliff Road? And so now this hardscape application shows me that. And the idea of I know the safety concern isn't really our purview, but I can't help but to notice that the driveway was certainly less than 25 feet from the corner to the, but in this case, while it is moving 25 feet from the corner, it's moving on a much busier road, Cliff Road, as opposed to a fairly minorly used road of Moores Ave. So in summary, while I like the shift of the doors around to the side, I would rather the access stay from the Moores Ave side, because the garage and parking and all that on Cliff Road, I see being more problematic.
Thank you. Could we just, Connie?
Yeah, I actually don't have an issue with this driveway moving to the side. It gets it away from the front. So I think with some little more screening, or probably is there, I'm okay.
Thank you, Connie. Joe?
Yeah, I think that that image at the beginning, which is a house I worked on at 81 Cliff, that house, you access off of the side street, but it faces Cliff at an angle with that type 2 fence there. And I think what they're proposing here by moving the garage doors around to the cliff side and having the access to the cliff side, that as you're driving from town, heading away from town, the oblique view now into this house, or into this property, I should say, will have the type 2 fence across here rather than seeing 2 doors facing the road. And I think that is superior, I think, to what it is now. As long as there's some screening on the corner, so that we're not, like from this angle that you have on the screen, we're not seeing this nice fence wrapping around the corner and seeing the doors, the garage doors at the same time. Like if there's a privet or something that goes from the corner of the garage kind of down towards Cliff that isolates the lawn area and screens the garage doors as you're coming from town, I think that would be helpful. And it would also help mitigate seeing all the hardscape where you're parking the cars. Probably not great from a safety perspective, but maybe, I think something to help isolate the lawn area so you're not visually isolated would be good from a landscape perspective. But otherwise, I'm looking ahead at the next application. I think this is, I think I'm in favor of this. I could see more the landscape along the property line, between the property line and the setback on, what is that, the southwest corner, it feels like that could have some more density. There's just quite a bit of hardscape there. So I think just a little bit of softening would around the driveway parking area would help. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So I'm not sure this is a plus for me, because off Cliff Road, you're going to be looking at the double garage doors in white. Is that correct? They're going to stay white. They're not going to be gray or natural weather or anything.
They could be, but.
Well, I think I agree with everybody that the corner has to be softened on the left and the right. Maybe there even a tree, something, so that because Cliff Road is there. Yes, there are some garages right on the street, but it's an anomaly, I think. And so unless there is softening the edges and painting the garage doors so they're not so blatantly white, I wouldn't be completely in favor of this unless there were some changes. So did we hear from everybody?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I'm going between the two applications, and I think what's important to note is that vegetation that we see, if you're looking at this hardscape, and it's more prevalent in Ben's next one, that you see on the street, which was what I was talking about, like you see the post for the street, and there's all this natural vegetation. That's not on their property, that's on the town property, and that obviously staying, yeah.
That's a great point.
I think that's important to note.
Yeah, the property line and edge of pavement it's a good 15 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
That we can't touch, so.
The part that everybody puts sticks up, so you can't park anywhere now, that the town's gonna go around and take out. Yeah.
Can I make one quick comment?
Yes,
Madam
sorry, yes.
Just about the safety issue. So Cliff Road is a road where you can't back out into the road. You have to be able to turn around in your driveway. So this driveway is barely, but is designed to turn around in. So if that is also a benefit to this, is that currently they have to back out into basically the corner of Cliff and Moores. Now they're going to be able to actually turn around and nose out, which is, again, much safer and better for everybody.
Okay, I think we've got it.
I would make a motion to approve as submitted, with there being vegetation, and I could do an Exhibit A, but closing this gap as Joe had suggested with just a gate there, maybe the same gate, and natural weather doors or gray.
We can wait till next application.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's part of the overall scheme, but yeah. So ignore the paint color, but that would be my motion.
So just that one gate, and where's the vegetation?
And the vegetation to obscure the view from Moores Ave across to the driveway.
All right, let's try that out. Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Angus, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'll be a no. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Do you want this
It's an
Stanford?
exhibit.
Here.
Thank you. Ooh, that's a big one.
Okay, you can start, Ben.
Great. So the existing house, I don't remember the exact date of construction, probably in the 80s. Yeah. Hasn't really had much done to it since then. So We are going to do a bit of a facelift to the main mass, not changing it dramatically, but a little bit of work on the front porch, a little bit of work on the front door. And then the intent, of course, with the driveway changing, that we're going to move the garage doors to, as we already talked about, to Cliff Road, and then adding a different roof configuration over the garage with low shed dormers to create some living space above that area. Then, of course, there's some fenestration changes on the back and north side that are barely, pretty negligible, and especially on the back of the house, not visible, but probably not something you should be overly worried about anyways. So with that, I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you, Ben. Board members?
I could go. This is Joe. I have no concerns, and I appreciate that you kept the link diminutive between the garage structure and the house versus trying to get connectivity between these two masses at the second floor. So even though it's getting taller, it feels like it's significantly subordinate. And I like the fact that there's a variation in eave lines. The dormers don't line up with the main eave line of the house, and the garage eave doesn't, it's slightly above the porch. It feels authentic. The only thing that jumps out to me, not jumps out necessarily, is if on the garage door side facing Cliff Road, if that whole first floor pushed out towards the street 2 feet, or if the second floor stepped in so that you got a shed roof going across that whole thing. That would help to soften that elevation, but I feel like you're only going to be viewing this obliquely, so it's not a major concern. And those are my concerns. My comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Connie?
I don't have any concerns. Thank you. I think this is appropriate.
Thank you, Connie. Val?
I'm glad we did the hardscape first because Ben doesn't have a site plan.
I think it is in the PDF, isn't it?
No,
No.
I have no concerns.
Angus?
Yeah, so this was on my consent list, and I didn't want to hold it for being incomplete because of the site and locus not being with it, but, and that was why I had confusion about, well, so how do you get to those doors? Yeah, I think this is a net improvement. It just, the raised height of the garage eave line, looking from the east elevation, yeah, that appears to be the highest wall area on the whole front of the house, just because the porch, sort of breaks up the height on the main structure. So I think that there are some tools to soften that. There could be a tree or something planted in front of it. The dormers could push back a little bit. There could be a trellis or something on the wall, but I feel like there needs to be some kind of softening of that so it doesn't read so expansive. And then the color of the doors, I think that would just be a lot of white onto Cliff. So I would be open to those being a gray or natural weather. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. I guess I have a couple of concerns. I'm not really keen on the pediment in the roof. I like the old-fashioned continuation of the roof, simple. And I think the dormers are sort of taking away from that main mass, especially so on that east elevation. I'm just wondering if that wouldn't be quieter without the dormers on that east elevation, and maybe it's just a little bit lopsided and have them on the just the west. Those are my thoughts. What would we like to do with this?
I would motion to approve as submitted.
Okay. On Val's motion, Connie?
Aye.
Angus?
No.
Joe?
I'll say aye.
And I'm a no. So, but that passes. So you got
I
a
would
good.
love to see trellis though on the east. I
I
thought
think
that was a
it's
great idea,
a good idea.
but I'm fine with it as is.
Okay, thank you, Joe. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Ben.
Uri, did you want a screen share?
I can, I mean, it's very simple application, so I can screen share or whatever is easier.
Yeah, if you could screen share, that would be helpful. Let me just bring you
Okay.
over as panelist. Hang on.
This should have been consent.
Which one is this?
38 fence.
Let's see. Oh, 38 Hooper?
And it's between properties. This is a house that got moved over there, which looks really great. Yeah.
Is someone presenting?
Who's presenting? Oh, he's not there yet? Okay.
Uri, you can start.
He probably doesn't know that he's muted.
Oh, yeah, maybe now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that made me sick.
Okay, can you see my screen? So that was saying it's a simple application for the fence. It's separating the house that we moved on and the neighbor in the back. It's like 42 feet board fence. And that's pretty much all. It's all the way kind of in the back, just between two buildings.
I have a question for the applicant. If
Yep.
is there a reason why you went with a stockade fence and not matching the 5-in-1 that's existing already?
There is a stockade fence also on the left side of the neighbor's property, which is going kind of north and south. So that's why the owner wanted to probably do the same.
Oh, okay. So you're connecting. You're basically extending that in a
Yeah.
way.
Not really. I mean, it's not shown on these pictures. The fence in the back is the 5/1, but the one all the way on the left side of the neighbor's property is stockade. You
Okay.
cannot see
Thank
it on
you.
these pictures. But yeah, he wanted to go with something much simpler than 5/1, just to cover the stuff that the neighbor has there to make it cleaner looking for his property.
I'll go.
Okay, thank you, Val.
Do you want me to go?
I go
'Cause it
by
was on
this
my consent.
house every single day,
Yes.
10 times a day. What you guys might not realize is stockade fence is very prevalent in this working class neighborhood and always has been. It's gonna weather out, it's a piece between the two structures and very close, not even, it's fine, it's totally, I'd approve it in a nanosecond.
Thank you, Val. Angus, you had this on consent?
I did, and my concern was, first of all, a stockade fence. All the pictures had shown a 5-in-1, so I thought that might want to match. also the proximity of the neighbor's house to the fence. I didn't know if that was leaving enough room for vegetation.
He submitted the lot. I mean, he subdivided the lot and sold it, so he's probably fine.
So those were my
It's on
concerns.
the,
Other
it's on
than
the
that,
property line, so.
yeah, other than that, I don't have an issue with it.
Okay, Connie? All right, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve is submitted.
On your motion?
Aye.
Connie? Joe?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
And I am going to abstain.
Thank you.
Oh, it's me.
Came
This
back.
is super easy.
I don't know. It never got to Connie. Connie, do you want to chop?
This is the building for Roasted on the corner of 159.
Wait, hold on,
Okay.
Val. Hold on 1 second. What is it, 159?
159 Orange
Orange.
in the corner of West Creek. It's simply picking this building up and moving it over in exactly the same position that it's in, just farther toward the West Creek side of the lot. The only major thing changing is we're going to put a door on the West Creek side instead of a window. Going to keep the ramp to the rear like it is now. That's it.
Oh, thank you, Val.
It was on my consent, so I'm happy
Oh,
to
yes, please.
start. I think, was it? Yeah, it was.
Well, you can go first.
So, yes, this building is already right there on the corner. What's changing is that there was more, it was further away, maybe 3 times as far away from West Creek Road. And then maybe that time and a half from Orange Street. So the Orange Street presentation is as modest as it is a door and a planted out ramp and a clear sort of indication of the front of the building. And so now what happens with it moving to the proposed spot is that there is I think it could probably still sort of orient towards the entrance or the drive into the parking area with the 2 windows facing the street and then you'd sort of think, okay, that's the side or whatever. But with the door, with it moving as close as it is to West Creek and then the door getting added, it really feels like you're looking at the back of the building or the side in a way that's just in the street. It's too close. So I would be okay with this if the window retained and the door scooted around to where it was. I do understand that there are probably concerns about setbacks in making that work, but the current proposal, I feel like kind of puts the not best side closest to the street in presentation. Thank you.
I don't understand one thing you just said. Sorry. You don't want it to have a presence on West Creek to look like it's the front?
It's, so through the chair to the applicant, yeah, my point is that as it sort of being a side with 2 windows facing the street, it would have a better presence. If that is supposed to read as the front, then there should be more of a porch or a roof or some sort of entry that makes it feel less like a side door or a back door.
Did,
Did you understand what he said?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I don't agree with it, but I hear it.
Connie?
It's going to be part of a bigger situation over
Yeah,
there.
this
There's
is,
gonna
I wish I
be
could see
other
the
people.
new dwelling. Okay, thank you, Connie. Joe?
Um, yeah, I'm listening I'm going over Angus's comments. Well, anyway, I think I like this, the scale of this building's always been pleasing, and I'm happy to see it's being utilized in this redevelopment of the lot. And I'm also happy to see that it's screening, no offense, Steve Thoreau, the NAG's office in the back, because that parking lot's always been a little bit of a mess in a way. And this feels like it'll help to screen all that and organize all that. And then, so I think it's an improvement to the lot overall. Remains to be seen what this other building's going to look like. But I do think that there's merit to creating a little bit more of a front on West Creek, with whether it's a simple shed roof or if that stoop has columns on it, maybe. I don't know. That's one option. Or Angus suggested that it's simply maybe the side and the front just stays as the front where it is now. I go back and forth on it. I'm sorry that that's not very helpful.
Thanks,
I
Joe.
guess I'm wondering if are there constraints that would prevent something like that from happening? I imagine there'll be a sign up here on the side of this building. I think maybe just articulating how this might actually manifest.
So you think if it has some sort of an overhang, a roof, it's
More of
well, the other front door is the same anyway.
Yeah, well, I think there'll be probably a sign up on that gable end that indicates what no, okay.
Yeah, roasted.
Oh, yeah, I think
still roasted.
that would help.
Thank you,
I think
Joe.
we'd be happy to put an overhang.
I mean, there's window boxes, for instance, on the other elevation. I mean, I know that's just in the rendering, but it reads like it's the side, but it's trying to be the front versus it being just the front. It's not a big enough gesture. And so I think it needs to go one way or the other. And I think that's what Angus was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and I ditto that.
Okay.
So, what do we want to do with this?
Exhibit A or a revision?
Well, what's the exhibit A? To put an overhang and
Overhang, window box, something
we
so it
can
doesn't
do
look
that.
like
We can do both of those.
something so it doesn't look like a side entrance.
And I just didn't take them off the side because they're already there. So the side that was the front.
Would somebody like to make that motion? I mean, I could make the motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Approve as submitted with an Exhibit A showing a shed roof over the door with posts,
yeah.
with posts, and a window box on the window, on the south elevation, the window, and
I know
yeah,
we have to come back for a sign.
planting the front would really help. Like the existing ramp is all sort of planted out, so you don't really even see the rail. I think that would soften it. Okay, so that's my motion.
All in favor of Angus's motion, say aye. Angus?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Abby? Aye. Thank you, Val.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
3 Kingsway, is that where we are?
Okay.
Do we have an applicant for,
I'm looking, I don't see anybody online unless somebody else is representing for 3 Kingsway. Nope,
how about 34 Tennessee?
that's Matt McEachern.
Oh, I think on
Matt, I'm promoting you to
that way.
panelist.
What's that?
I was talking to Matt.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
34 Tennessee partial demo. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Madam Chair. I am now officially chairing, so with your permission, I can explain
Sure.
what this application is.
Please do.
Okay, so 36 Tennessee, this was a structure that, it was a dwelling, and we wanted to save the center mass and pick it up and move it across the street to a parcel that this same party owns. And the reason we're moving it is because there was some indication that it was from the 1920s. And so we've done our interior demo, getting the thing ready, prepped and ready to move. And there was also some conflicting information that it was built in the 70s, mid-70s. It actually says it on the property card, which I know that can be not always accurate. Anyways, long story short, so we opened everything up, and all of the framing is it's definitely not from the 20s. So I've got some photos here, which just demonstrate that the framing is not from the 20s. And so because of that, and because we're going to be doing so much to it, we were hoping we could, we're not proposing to change the design at all. All the design will stay exactly as it is, but we are adding some barn doors and repurposing the structure. And so by the time we move it, do a lot of the reframing on the interior, and given the fact that it is not from the 20s and that it's from the 70s, demonstrated by the framing, we're hoping to just demo it and rebuild it. And like I said, it is stripped. You can see from the photographs that, again, it's not 1920s framing. So that's what we're here for. Not looking to change anything on the design whatsoever.
Okay, just for clarification, Holly's notes say that it is 1938. But, we can still continue with this. It's,
If I could just add one thing, Madam Chair, is
you
that,
you
based
found a
on those-
shingle that said 1970, built in 1970?
What's that?
Did you find a shingle that said it was built in
I
1970?
mean, you could just tell definitely from the framing that it's not from the 30s.
Okay, well, I will, we'll take that into consideration.
Sure.
Board members? Yeah, oh yeah, take your time. You just, yeah. Joe, are you ready? Or Connie? Connie, anybody?
I was going to ask Matt if he could go to those interior photos again. That would be helpful. Thanks. I didn't realize the view was so rocky from there. But
Sorry, I know. These are actually in my email.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And the mountains.
Yeah. It's a screensaver. Just changes every month. Sometimes it's like 2 birds. People think I'm into birds. I'm really not. So you can, I don't know if you can see, Joe.
yeah, I know. I can see that it's plywood. It's not individual boards, and I mean it looks like nominal 2x stock. Okay.
Would you like to continue?
Well, yeah, I appreciate that you're not taking this as an opportunity to modify height and scale and all that. And the exterior of this, if you're moving windows around, there's a lot of reframing that was already implicit in this approval. And as viewed from the public way, and I know that this is not a very visible location anyway, I think that we're not talking about a change really. This sounds like a cautionary approval so that Matt can proceed with construction in confidence. And based on the photos, I feel comfortable with it.
Thank you, Joe. Connie or anybody ready?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I was just looking at the next application just to see what's going there. But
Sure.
yes, I'm fine with this. Thank you.
All right.
I have a question. I was confused because I went out there and I could not, is it behind the green fencing?
Yes, yeah, it's still in its,
Right, in its original location.
correct, yeah.
Right,
And so they've
okay. And
strapped
it's
it
moving across,
literally across, there's a paper road that separates the two
Right.
parcels, but it, for all intents
that's
and
where I got
purposes.
lost. I'm like, wait, where is this going on the site?
I think the hope is to purchase the road because it doesn't really go anywhere. So, but it'll essentially be one parcel. And so again, the design does not change from what you've approved. It's just
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Angus?
I agree with what's been said.
And I'm ready to approve it if somebody wants to make a motion.
I would,
Oh, Joe, did I skip you? No.
No, I spoke first by accident, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't, I'm agreeing with everything everybody said.
I would make a motion then to approve as submitted.
Thank you, Joe, on that, on your motion.
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
What's your saying? Val?
I would say aye to both, the demo and the rebuild.
Okay, I like that. Angus?
Same.
Same, yeah.
And me too.
Okay.
So we can't do that, but you did get an
Okay.
approval.
Okay, thank you.
So the next one
Yeah.
is the rebuild. I would make a
Yeah,
motion
yeah.
to approve the rebuild.
Thank you for that. That expediates. Is that a word?
Can we make the demo contingent upon it being a rebuild?
Yes, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds very good.
All right, so do we have to redo our motions?
No,
No, this is just for the rebuild, that it's to rebuild what is existing.
Oh, okay.
okay, so that's Val's motion.
Yeah, let Angus make it. And he
Okay,
can
all
write
right,
it.
all right.
Okay.
Can you say that again, just one more time?
Motion to approve as submitted, and that it's rebuilding what's existing.
Thank you. On that motion,
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can, is Dinah here?
She is.
Okay, I was gonna say, could we go to
Go
poor
on.
Jose who's been sitting here?
Dinah, did you want a screen share?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, you said? Okay. Okay, hang on.
Okay, just tell me when you're ready. It's starting with 2 honeysuckle hardscape rugs.
Oh, Dinah, you can go.
Oh, okay. So for 2 honeysuckle, we're proposing to make a couple changes to the bluestone hardscape. Okay, if you want to pan out a little bit to the full document there, to the full drawing. Okay, very good, thank you. So we're on the corner of Beachgrass and Honeysuckle Drive. And we're starting with the bottom left-hand corner of the site. We would like to install a 4-foot picket fence that begins at the lower left-hand corner near the building corner of Honeysuckle Drive. And then it continues, the 4-foot picket fence would continue up towards the proposed mechanical pad. And then it would step up to a 7-foot cedar fence plus lattice. Now, this design is to mirror what's across the street, and it's been approved and it looks really nice. It has the 4-foot picket fence stepping up to a higher cedar board fence with the lattice. And then as you continue around the back of the yard, the 7+1 lattice would be continuing all the way to the upper right-hand corner, and then coming down with a solid 6-foot cedar fence that turns into the garage. That is the gist of it, and the photos are actually from across the street, and you can see a little bit of 2 honeysuckle in the upper left-hand photo that is beyond the neighbor across the street's 4-foot picket fence. That is really about it. Oh, the bluestone, we were adding some more bluestone to the left of the back porch so that they can get some use out of the yard there, and proposing to locate a mechanical enclosure to the left of the main structure. And that's, oh, the pool enclosure, the pool equipment enclosure behind the garage was approved on another application with the garage on consent. So that's also in the drawing that you're looking at, is a red cloud.
Okay, thank you, Dinah. Board members.
An 8-foot fence just seems crazy to me. It says 7+1 foot.
Oh,
7
plus
feet.
the
7 and 1?
Yeah.
Dinah, did you say it already exists?
No, there's no fence there now.
I don't think we've ever approved an 8-foot fence.
No.
I'm happy to go if Val's finished.
Go ahead.
So the application is empty. There isn't on the COA application, there isn't anything about the fence height or the type, the length, the trim, the color. So let me clarify some things here.
Sure.
The picket fence is intended to be natural as shown in that top photograph.
Exactly. We want to continue the aesthetic that's across the street. So it's a 4-foot cedar picket fence, and it's 51 lineal feet. It's on the drawing if you zoom in, the lineal feet of the fence. If you zoom in on the main site plan drawing, you'll see the lineal fence dimension there, and then it steps up to the higher fence, and that lineal feet is around the back is 104 feet as it goes around the curve to the back right corner. And then it comes down 39 feet 7 inches of a 6-foot cedar just board fence, no lattice behind.
Okay, so thank you. So I would be in favor of the picket fence as shown for the placement of it, but 3 feet high instead of 4 feet high and natural to weather, and the fence that is a 7 and 1 to be the typical 5 and 1 natural to weather. Thank you.
I think she might need 4 feet for the pool.
The 4 feet, we would ask, that's what's across the street as well. And if the 4 feet is the client would prefer that.
With the thick vegetation, not to go back and forth, but with the thick vegetation, you could probably do a fence between vegetation that is more natural to satisfy the 4-foot pool issue.
Well, the 4-foot picket fence is only being proposed along the left-hand side of the property, similar to across the street where it's extended out into the rear, the side yard and front yard. It's the address for the one across the street is 3 Honeysuckle. I wasn't certain about the height of the picket fence, if there was a threshold, if it's required to be 3 feet, but if possible, the 4-foot would be more in concert with what's across the street.
Typically, a picket fence is 36 inches or less, sometimes 30 inches, sometimes 24 inches, but generally not more than 36. And this is just a highly visible, it's on a corner. It's got streets on 3 sides of it. So that's why I have concerns about a 4-foot picket fence.
Understood.
Okay, so, okay, we're gonna do a lightning round here. Everybody ready? Connie?
I have real concerns about an 8-foot fence. I don't think it's typical, and I wouldn't support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Joe?
I agree with Connie. Less concerned about a 4-foot picket, but I agree with everything Angus said that they're typically around 36. If there's precedent for 4 feet, then I'd go with that. But max a 5-and-1 versus a 7-1.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe. Val?
I think it'd be easier to understand if perhaps the different fence was highlighted in a different color. As it is, it all blends in together, and it goes from, on one side over here, it's 6-foot cedar, on this side, it's 4-foot, and then in the back here, it's 7+1, so it all kind of, I don't know where something's starting or ending.
Okay.
Which is unclear to me, but this is a corner lot. And I get why you'd want privacy. I share the concern about an 8-foot fence. I don't recall. Yeah, and how far is it off the road? There's
right
the
on.
road and then.
Oh,
On the road.
with Ironwood, it's about 15, 18 feet beyond the vegetation.
Yeah.
But it does come right up to honeysuckle. Yeah, so, yeah, the fencing practically surrounds both sites, both, 2 honeysuckle and 4 honeysuckle. There's a fence around the whole thing, and I'm wondering if at some point there could be some relief. Hopefully with some revisions, we could pull it back at some points. I know you realize you need it near the pool, but I would like to see some of this fencing reduced, and definitely not at 8 feet. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Make a
Wait,
motion.
I have a question for Dinah. Is this for both together?
If you look at the next drawing, we have them side by side. The lots, just scroll down to the next
Yeah.
PDF. So there's 4 honeysuckle, and the fence would continue along there and then return to the street. So if the 7 or the 8-foot fence is not going to fly, we would submit for a 5+1 for a 6 overall 6.
Yeah, I think Val's idea of the color coding with both of these lots side by side, this one drawing we have in front of us, would be super helpful. And with the revisions that we talked about relative to height. So I would make a motion to hold for revisions and some clarification on the presentation just to help us understand it at a glance.
I do have a question though for Dinah, or a comment. I'm looking at the double lot one right now, and on number 4, the 7-foot fence comes all the way to the street. I think it should end at the corner of the house.
Okay,
That could be a lower fence. That seems like an accident waiting to happen.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
so a step down to clarify at the edge of the house, somewhere near the corner of the 4 honeysuckle. Okay.
Yeah, I think you've got to pull it back. I think by law, you can't have a fence go all the way down to the road because of accidents. So you got to pull that back at least 2 posts. I don't know what that
Go to the
is.
corner of the house.
Usually it's a couple of sections back from the corner.
Well, so could you make a motion to hold for revision?
Joe did, I think.
Oh, Joe did.
Yeah.
Okay, on Joe's motion,
For
to hold
clarification. and
clarification of the fencings, what heights they are, and
Where they are.
pulling back of color coding and pulling back the fences from the public roads. On Joe's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
and Joe.
Aye. And I
And
guess it would be the
myself.
same motion for the next one.
Yeah, rinse and
Yes,
repeat.
thank you. Connie, on Joe's second motion.
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Abby, aye. And we're done with Gold.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dinah.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're a patient man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are you Thurston Way?
Yes, Jose Gutierrez.
Terrific.
Oh, Jose Gutierrez.
Jose, welcome. You can start.
Looking to do 2 dormers on the front side of the house. Pretty much it.
Yep, it's quite self-explanatory. All right, lightning round. Okay. Connie.
I'm okay with this, thank you.
Oh, Apple.
Val, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm okay with this as well.
Okay, terrific. Joe?
I have no concerns. I think your mic might be off, by the way.
I'm so sorry. We got a thumbs up from Connie and Val and Joe. Angus?
I would be fine with it if the right dormer matched the same amount of shingle area as the left dormer in that north elevation, facing the street.
The smaller dormer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the larger dormer would shrink down to the, so they would be the same size?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want to make that motion?
I want to make a comment.
Okay.
While I would typically agree with Angus on that, but given the location of where this house is and the size of this house, they're trying to maximize the space that they're gonna get by putting these dormers on. And with the vegetation they have there, I just think it's okay for them to not be exactly the same, but that's just me.
So, to that point, it's also, I feel like they're getting so crowded close to each other that then it's almost begging for it just to be one dormer. So that's why I'm making that motion.
Okay, so does everybody understand the motion?
Well, let's ask him. Do you want to make it one dormer, one big dormer?
Oh, I didn't know that was, was that your, I thought you were shrinking just one of them.
I was going, my motion was to have the right dormer match the width of the left dormer.
So Jose, is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it
Wait.
okay, is it okay to still have the windows pretty much the way they are?
The windows on the second floor, the one,
Yes.
as you're facing the front door, the one on the left, on the second floor, the other dormer would be the same size, on the smaller size. You'd get both dormers, but they'd be the same size.
Just two of this one.
Or do one dormer?
Or one.
Um,
If you do one, then I'd like to see the windows spread out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd have to see that
So,
come back.
for your understanding, the gap in between the dormers is basically the staircase that goes up. So I don't know how we will spread the windows any farther in between. The dormer on the right-hand side, if it made a change, we could add another window, so the spacing looks somewhat equal and less wall to show on the one on the right-hand side.
Can I make a comment on that?
Sure.
Well, I think that's an interesting suggestion, which would be 3 windows in that dormer instead of 2. Only because the door, this is such a simple building, and the main door is off center. And to the left of that door on the first floor is a single window and the right is a double. So the way he's got the dormers now, they're centered about the front door. And to me, that kind of justifies one dormer being slightly bigger than the other one because it kind of echoes what's happening on the first floor. And I'm afraid that if the dormers on the right were to shrink, then it's going to look peculiar relative to the front door. And if you left them the same size, but made it 3 windows instead of 2, you might actually end up with the same shingle space as the smaller dormer on the left, if that makes sense. So just something to contemplate. I would be fine with this application as is. I prefer it over a single dormer, and I would be fine with it having 3 windows in that one dormer.
Yeah, I'm beginning to worry that it's going to get top heavy the more we add more windows or make it one, and it's already a little top heavy with the windows. So
Can we try a motion?
Sure, of course.
Motion to approve is submitted.
Okay, we can try that.
It's original.
All right. Shut up, Connie. Angus.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Valerie.
Sorry, we're just trying to torture
Aye.
you, Jose.
And I'm an aye.
You're all
Thank you
set.
very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
But we did give it consideration.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
This next one, I don't know if anybody's on, oh, actually Liza is here. But they didn't, Carrie didn't have a problem with it on consent, but Holly wanted to say to Carrie, are you okay with a fiberglass fenestration? It isn't in this sconset OHD, which is good. So, and we never heard back from Carrie, so.
Fiberglass?
But it's not else, but it's not in the SOHD. But Holly didn't have a problem putting it on consent. She just wanted to make sure that it was
Yeah.
okay with,
I understand that.
with Carrie, but Liza is online if you want her to speak.
Oh, is it Liza Hutton?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Hatton? Liza?
Liza, you can unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Liza. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm open to any suggestions. My husband works at Marine, so it was a wet window that he thought would be a good fit. But if you have a different suggestion, we can do something else.
No, well, let's see what the board says.
Okay.
Is anybody ready to comment?
I'm still looking, turning it. Hey, Liza. Hi.
Hi.
It's Val.
Hi, Val.
Not how, correct, let me back up. How come you want clad windows in your shed?
Um, because we have a window that we can
Oh,
use for
okay, you're
it.
gonna
So
use a
like,
window that you have. It's one
yes,
window.
we're repurposing a window that would ordinarily, like, I don't know, it would probably be thrown out or something. So it was just a
No,
window that we have, but we can get a new window if we should do that.
you know what? It's one window, you're saving a window from going in the landfill. I have no problem with it, it's a shed.
Okay, there's
Okay.
Val. Connie?
No concern.
No concern. Joe
No concerns.
and Angus?
No, especially with this being all sort of tucked away from any main road or anything.
Okay, do I hear our favorite motion?
Motion to approve is submitted.
Connie?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
And Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye too. Thank you, Liza.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Liza. So, Madam Chair, Tobias is not here.
He said we could.
Should we close shop before he comes back?
But he did say if you wanted to review it without him present, it's up to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we're going home.
What? Let's just look at it.
I think it's fine, actually.
It's the back of a house.
Yeah.
Well, Abby had it on consent.
Oh, which one was it?
12
The last
Pilgrim.
one, 12 Pilgrim Road, you had that on consent.
This one.
And I forget why you,
All the roofs.
Oh, yeah, because,
Red
because of I was worried about the neighbors in the back seeing it, or if you could see it from, yeah, no, I'm fine with that, so.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Aye.
Unless someone has
All in
comment.
favor of Angus's motion on 12 Pilgrim?
Aye.
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 Aye,
Aye.
and Joe? And I'm an aye.
I'm an aye.
All right, thank you guys for the extra one.
Hey, we got through the whole thing.
yeah, there's a few no-shows. So the next meeting is next Tuesday. It's old business with probably a little new business sprinkled
When do we
in.
start vacation?
And then your next meeting after that isn't until November 18th.
Because of town meeting.
So I'll be sending you consents probably in a few emails because it'll be a big agenda.
Oh, my goodness.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Angus.
How many? Oh, because there's a holiday too.
Well, special town meeting is the 4th, which is a Tuesday.
Anybody care?
And Veterans Day is the 11th, which is a Tuesday. And then the week after the 18th is Thanksgiving week, so only one meeting this month, or November.
Angus made a motion to adjourn. Anybody interested in that?
Yes, aye.
I'm in favor. Have a good night.
Joe?
Good night.
Yes,
Aye, Joe.
Bye.
Angus,
Aye.
on your motion.
Yes.